with something to prove and something to hide. Everyone's got a secret, a strength, a weakness, a fear. It can box them in. It can push them forward.
Checker flag, you are the man.
But the chase has an uncanny way of exposing secrets.
The more you work on it, the more it's going to get tight, and I can't turn or I'm getting run over.
The gauntlet drops at New Hampshire. An open road of possibility with no alibi.
Come on, guys, don't copy this race.
Just 10 races to prove greatness. It takes iron will to become a champion. Be aggressive in the face of danger that defies logic.
They're 4 wide. Holy cow!
Because the very nature of NASCAR is chaos, and the choices made in its wake will separate the pack. Do you retreat with a fool's promise that next time will be different?
That man wants to win a race.
Or do you empty the tank of uncertainty and cut it loose?
Tony Stewart is back in the win column.
The secrets unravel on race day as 12 men walk the line and chase the cup.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about, boys.
The path that leads to that cup begins at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway on a beautiful September afternoon where the weather may be pleasant, but the competition will be tough as the granite this state is known for. These New England race fans are ready. They've been having a great time in the campgrounds throughout the weekend and tailgating in the parking lot all morning. Now they're coming into the grandstands. The VIP tours are wrapping up. The crews are setting up. And the pursuit of a race win and a championship is about to begin.
After winning the regular season finale a year ago at Homestead, Denny Hamlin promised that this 11 team would win a championship in the next couple of years. Today, he enters the chase in 2010 as the #1 seed on the strength of 6 regular season victories. But in the last 5 races, Hamlin has 3 finishes of 34th or worse. He'll need to avoid those missteps if he's to deliver on his promise of a championship.
Without the points reset and the seeding of the chase, Kevin Harvick would be the championship leader heading into the final 10 races. Team 29 has held the points lead on consistent speed, reliability, and leadership, increasingly coming from the driver himself. Will that be enough to send Kevin Harvick to his first ever Sprint Cup championship?
5 drivers come into the chase for the championship winless. And with the competitive field like it is and no clear-cut favorite, it begs the question, can a driver win the championship without winning a race? Jeff Gordon has been the master of consistency. Carl Edwards has scored the most points over the last 10 races, but both drivers remain winless. Hey, winless or not, in the end, it's the man with the most points who wins the championship.
Until proven otherwise, the chase favorite has to be 4-time and defending Sprint Cup champion Jimmie Johnson. Now, I realize a driver nicknamed Superman by his peers has looked more like Clark Kent at times this year, especially with 8 finishes of 25th or worse. But now with the lights, camera, and action of the chase set to begin, I fully expect Jimmie Johnson to step out of that phone booth with his cape attached and set his sights on a 5th consecutive NASCAR Sprint Cup trophy.
Doc, thank you. Here's how the 12 drivers competing for that trophy, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship trophy, will begin their chase. Denny Hamlin, by virtue of having the most wins this season, has the top seed, barely over Jimmie Johnson, the 4-time defending champ. As you can see from the starting positions on the right side of the screen, the chasers are scattered throughout the starting field for this race to begin what many are calling the most wide-open championship in the chase era.
This is probably the most competitive chase field we've ever had, and I realistically think that there's 12 contenders.
I honestly cannot pick anybody to be a favorite.
It's tough to throw a name out there for the biggest threat because I look at the list and I'm like, well, who's the favorite? Who's the underdog?
We've seen it in the Super Bowl. We've seen it in NCAA basketball. You know, a lot of times people that win it, you know, a few people picked them, but not everybody, and I think that could happen here.
I am the biggest threat to win the championship, and I'm going down fighting, thinking that all the way through.
I think it's as close to the field as it's been in a long time, and I think this could be a year that somebody can take him down.
Wide open with an element of the unknown. Kind of like what happens when they open the microphones inside the ESPN pit studio overlooking the Magic Mile. Alan Bestwick inside with the winner of the very first Cup race at this track, Rusty Wallace, NASCAR team owner Brad Daugherty, and 3-time New Hampshire winning crew chief Ray Evernham. Thanks for joining us. Why is this the most wide-open championship of the Chase era?
Alan, there's just no clear favorite to win this thing. I mean, in the past, we've come to this racetrack on, hey, it's going to be Jimmy Johnson. He's the guy. He's been dominating the whole year. But you know what? Not this year. It's been very, very competitive. A lot of guys can get it done. So it's totally different because of that reason right there.
See, now, I disagree. I really believe that this is still Jimmy Johnson's championship to lose. I think his competitors, as well as a lot of us in the media, we've been looking at the little cracks and crevices in this 48 team, trying to break them apart. But they are still the team to beat. If you look at the last 12 races, they've led laps in 10 of those races. And until someone beats these guys, they are the champions.
Well, I agree, and I agree. So I'm agreeing with both of them, believe it or not. But, you know, you're right. They are the favorite, but not by as much as last year, because technology continues to push this sport ahead, and the mechanical side of it is really even. The other teams have caught up to those guys. Even though they're running good, the other teams have caught up to them. So I really believe that this chase is going to come down to mental toughness and talent. Like a good old boxing match. We got to watch round one before we really know if there is a favorite.
A boxing match without a knockout blow necessarily. Although history tells us that you do need to put your best foot forward in this opening Chase race. Only one time in the previous 6 years of the Chase has the eventual champion finished outside of the top 10 in this opening race. That was Jimmy Johnson in 2006, but then, of course, he finished first or second in 5 of the last 6 races that year to overcome the deficit. That's not a result most can expect to achieve, especially in this wide-open era. So, understanding that the first race is important and that some of these chasers are starting deep in the pack today, that starting grid we saw a minute ago, how does it affect them?
Well, first of all, I can't think of anything good out of starting in the back. I can't think of nothing there. So that was a mistake, and that's one thing you don't want to have happen. You do not want any mistakes in this chase, and some of those guys have already made mistakes. You think of Jimmy Johnson. He's in the back. Kevin Harvick, he's basically in the back.
Yeah,
so, not a good deal.
I agree with you, Rusty, and I think that's the big key. If we think about Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, and that 48 team, the remarkable thing about them, Ray, is that they were mistake-free, basically, over the last 3 years in winning those 4 championships. So I think that's the thing. Whoever minimizes mistakes will win this championship, and starting in the back for those guys is a big problem.
Right, and if I'm a chase racer starting in the back, all I'm focused on right now is how to get my car in position on cycle inside that top 5 to challenge for that win at halfway. At 150 laps, I want to be sitting in the top 5 with an undamaged race car.
All right, something to watch for. Are they in the top 5 with an undamaged race car?
Undamaged race car. Is that a word? Undamaged? Is undamaged a word?
Yeah, we'll make it one. One of the elements that makes this chase a wide-open championship is the fact that Carl Edwards, the 9 seed, winless this year, has nonetheless scored more points in the last 10 races than any other driver. And if he can score more points in these next 10 races than anyone else, he could be champion, Vince.
Certainly is impressive, the most points over the last 10 races. What does that consistency say about your team, and is consistency enough to win the championship, Carl?
Well, I was almost late to this interview because I was watching the guys in there on ESPN. I think they've got it right. I don't think there's a favorite. I do believe that that we're going to have to see this first round before we can decide, who's going to be the champion. And it's really going to come down to, I think, who has the least amount of bad days. I think there's going to be enough guys who run really well and don't have any bad days that if you're in the group that has a bad one, you're out. So the biggest thing we're focusing on today is being mentally strong, mentally tough, working on our Afterlife Fusion all day, and just getting a good, solid finish.
Carl said he needed the car to be a little faster after that final practice yesterday. He'll roll off 10th today, Alan.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Carl. 12 drivers get ready to chase a championship, while 43 drivers get ready to bang some fenders and try to ring the bell here in New Hampshire.
Denny Hamlin is on fire right now. New leader, Clint Bowyer.
I want y'all just to think about how to be number 1. I want that trophy, damn it.
The old push and run.
They're 4 wide. Holy cow!
Wasn't a matter of if Jimmy Johnson would go to the lead here today. It was a matter of when.
This is where everybody earns their money. I've never seen a flag so pretty.
The rocket ship up front belongs to Greg Biffle.
If you're going to win here, you're going to need to beat Jeff Burton.
Kansas going to shut the door.
Jeff Gordon wants the lead. Got it.
Russian brakes are a lot better than Cheerios. My money's on Tony Stewart. Ring the bell, baby. Woo! All we do is win. I hope you guys are ready for a good 10 weeks.
for Harvick as he comes to the stripe. It'll be his 3rd win of 2010.
Good job, guys. Great freaking job.
Kevin Harvick driving one of 3 Richard Childress Racing entries in the chase. A big turnaround for that team after being 0 for 09, getting no cars in the championship. The turnaround has been about a path better chosen for Childress.
Jeff Burton is battered and torn up.
Hard contact and into the outside wall goes Clint Bowyer.
Car to the wall, turn 1, and it is Harvick.
The bad luck for this 29 car just continues in 2009.
Most of the time, you'll find yourself going down a path that carries you down the wrong road. And that's what we did in 2009. We sort of went down the wrong path.
Out of the right rear and tighten this mother up.
The deterioration of Richard Childress Racing can be traced back to early 2009. Coming off a 4th, 5th, and 6th place finish in the point standings in 2008, RCR's chosen path that offseason was undefined.
We made some bad decisions at the beginning of the year on the directions that we went with our cars.
Hopefully it's wrecked bad enough to where we can't drive it anymore.
The way we were putting cars together, the way we were building cars, the way we were setting them up, the way we were driving them, you know, all those collectively just didn't do a good job.
Good night going bad right now for Jeff Burton.
Tired of listening to your excuses, Richard. Damn it. Drive the car, man. I'm getting tired of you now. Drive that car. You get paid to drive it, drive it. Having your car as fast as it'll go.
All of us struggle. I personally struggle.
I just crashed it.
Last 2 years, all 3 of the RCR Richard Childress Racing cars made it in the chase, and here in 2009, not a single one will be in the postseason.
We were in a panic. We knew we were off.
Richard told us they have been burning the midnight oil 24/7 to be able to get more competitive over there.
When you haven't had the performance you want over a couple-month period, then everybody starts scratching their head and knows you got to go back to the drawing board.
To correct the downward spiral, Childress shook up RCR from the inside. He shifted Scott Miller, then Jeff Burton's crew chief, to director of competition, and named Kent Day technical director of competition.
Richard reorganized everything, and he put Scott Miller over looking after everything on the engineering side, which made it really nice to have one guy to be able to go to all the crew chiefs and say, okay, this car did this and it helped this. And we were able to make all the cars the same.
We had to marry engineering and our crew chiefs a lot tighter together. Scott Miller was a piece of the puzzle that put that there.
Kent Day's position with Director of Engineering has really helped us. We rebuilt this company. A lot of it's based on math and science and engineering, and we couple that to good experience.
We started over with our chassis department. We started over with our aero department. Richard has made the investment for our simulation programs that we need, and they're utilizing all the tools that we have that we really hadn't utilized correctly in the past are really being used to make things good now.
What a difference a year makes. Kevin Harvick, our points leader, doing what he needs to do.
This guy right here, Clint Bowyer, this thing is flat flying.
Last chance through the trial. Here he comes! Here they come!
Burton drives deep into 3. New leader, Jeff Burton.
What an incredible comeback.
You can't win in Michigan, Kevin. Good job, buddy. Good job, guys. Great freaking job.
You know, Kevin's been so rock solid. The whole team is. Clint, Jeff, you know, I can't say enough.
Welcome back to the chase, Richard Childress Racing drivers.
Well, the Childress turnaround is illustrated quite well by comparing the 26 race part of the NASCAR season that sets the championship field from last year to this. By every measure, 2010 has been far better for the Childress group individually and collectively. Kevin Harvick leads the Childress charge. His 3 wins makes him the 3 seed. But Dave, today he starts 27th.
And Alan, in the piece, we talked about some of the resources and some of the shifting around that was done, and we know that money was put into the program, Kevin, but something you've talked about is the way you guys race this year as another factor in how you're doing so well. Is that all on you in attitude and how you approach the races?
No, I think everybody's got a great attitude in approaching the way that we go about our races. We always seem like we have a good plan. We sat down and talked about what we've done so far this weekend, and we were off when we started race trim. Felt pretty good about where our car was second half of race trim, and we'll see what happens today. So we'll just keep doing the things that we've been doing. If we can do that and get the same results, and we'll be fine.
Okay, qualifying was not your favorite moment of the weekend, I'll guess. How do you approach the race then, knowing that you have to come out of here with a decent finish to win the chase?
Yeah, we had a fast car in practice. Just one little slip wound up putting us a little bit further back than what we wanted to, but we've got a lot of practice at that this year. So qualifying hasn't been our strongest point this year, but we always race well.
All right, Alan, keep a camera on the 29 today. It's going to be fun to watch Kevin drive to the front.
From 27th starting spot. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Kevin. You know, racing is not the only sport where you can get kicked from the top of the pack back into the pack in a hurry. See Tiger Woods, for example. But the Childress group has managed to claw their way back to the top.
Yeah, they really have, guys. And, I spent Tuesday with Richard Childress, and we were talking about hunting and fishing, which we both like to do. And I asked him, I said, Richard, why would you put so much of yourself into this effort of resurrecting this race team? I mean, Richard is north of 60 and south of 70. I'm not going to give up his age, but he's been doing this a long time, and he could have rode off into the sunset. But he obligated himself tremendously financially as well as mentally and physically, and he just looked at me and said, because this is what I do. So that he has done something that is incredible in resurging this race team. He's got great people, great pieces and parts, but this is an incredible resurgence.
Well, Brad, sometimes you got to get kicked to the curb, you got to get embarrassed, you got to get beat up, you got to get wore out in order to resurge. And that's exactly what happened to this race team. This team was a good team, but they got complacent. They messed up. They had a lot of mistakes. But they got beat so bad, just like I said, they got embarrassed. And that right there, I know Richard Childress, that's what woke him up. That made him really get in gear and spend the money, work on the resources, and make it get back to the top where they are right now.
And what a great commitment Richard has made to his team and to this sport. But he's got a good player coach, if you will, in his corner in Jeff Burton. I read something that Jeff Burton said the other day about how all three drivers had similar levels of talent but different skills, and they just needed to mesh that together. Jeff does a good job not only scoring points for Richard to win the championship, but supporting his teammates as well. Good guy to have in your corner.
Yeah, that's
Jeff
a very
Burton.
Perceptive observation by Jeff Burton. Very, very interesting.
Jeff starting in 13th position in today's race. Clint Bowyer starts on the front row for this one, Jamie.
It was a great qualifying effort. And Clint, we just saw this piece on your team. What is it like after missing the chase for you and your teammates last year, being back in this situation with the circumstances so much better?
Well, it's just take a lot of pride in getting things back in the chase. All three teams. That just speaks volume about the hard work and dedication on everybody's part at RCR. So on behalf of myself and Jeff and Kevin, thank you. Everybody's watching. Hopefully we'll go make you proud in this chase.
All right, Clint Bowyer won here back in 2007, and he'll start on the front row. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thank you. And coming up, a spoiler alert. No, not the thing attached to the trunk lid of the race cars, but drivers not in the championship who are going to be big factors in this New Hampshire race. Plus, we'll have some fun with who's going to win the championship and how the chase will be won. That and much more when NASCAR Countdown continues from New Hampshire.
Hey, will we see the M&Ms melt under the chase heat today? Or will it be a sweet ending for Kyle Busch and M&Ms?
The New Hampshire Motor Speedway getting ready to host race number 1 in the 2010 chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup 300 laps around this very tough 1-mile track. Qualifying was held for this race on Friday afternoon, and 6 of the 10 fastest laps were turned by drivers not in the chase. Quickest was Brad Keselowski, scoring his first Coors Light Pole Award in the Cup Series in new track record fashion. Can he steal the show today for that first Cup win, Doc?
Well, and he is certainly on a mission today. And, Brad, you start on the pole, but you have 2 chasers. Tony Stewart and Clint Bowyer are starting behind you and beside you. So how aggressive will you be in terms of attacking or defending for position?
Well, we want to lead as many laps as possible with our AAA Dodge Charger. So we're going to do everything we can to get the lead and just run away. But, I'm sure Tony's got a great car. I know Clint's got a great car. So they're going to be tough to beat. But, the chase is here to add drama to what otherwise is great racing. And you can't take your mind off that, and do all I can to win the race, because it's a race of 43 cars. There just happen to be 12 really good ones.
Hey, good luck to you.
Thank you.
What's the old saying, Alan? Have at it, boys.
Yeah, we'll see how turn 1, lap 1 goes. Congrats to Brad Keselowski on his first Sprint Cup pole position. Now, the 12 chase drivers made the championship by running up front more than everybody else for most of the season, right? But there are a number of guys in the field we'll call today, in a nod to our college game day friends, spoilers, and give you a spoiler alert. Nothing to do with the thing on the trunk of the cars, but non-chase guys that could come up and steal the spotlight from the championship guys. Give me a spoiler to watch today.
All right, Jamie McMurray, he's the guy that I'm looking at, could probably jump up and win this thing. Take a look at it. He's qualified 4th here today. He's really good. He's won the Daytona 500. He's won the Brickyard 400. He really knows how to win. So, hey, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if McMurray just jumps up and beats everybody's pants off today.
Yeah, no doubt. And well, the guy for me would be Casey Kane. I mean, all season long, Casey has really been in the mix heavily throughout most races, just has not been able to get to the finish line. He's averaged a 12th place qualifying start throughout the season. He is very, very capable of getting this fast number 9 Ford into victory lane.
Both good picks, guys, but I was watching Ryan Newman in practice. He's won here before, finished 6th in the spring bolt. He and Tony Stewart were strong. Little love for the armed forces. I'm going with the U.S. Army to be a spoiler today.
Come on, give us the line. The Army car marching to the front. Come on, there you go. This situation is unique to NASCAR. The guys who qualified for the championship still competing within the broader race of those who didn't make the playoffs, if you will. These last 10 races for the non-chasers. Chip on their shoulder?
Absolutely, they got a chip on their shoulder. They want to go out there and win, man. They're tired of all the talk about the chasers. They're like, what about me? Talk about me. I want to get in victory lane. You know what? They don't care. They just want to win, and that's all they care about. They don't care about those guys a bit, Brad. Not a bit.
See, I really think if you get one of the guys who's really, really competitive, like a Juan Pablo Montoya or someone like that, in position to win, I think being in the chase is a weakness for some guys, for the chasers, because they have to really be careful of how they race a guy at the end of the race. Can you imagine racing Juan Pablo Montoya on a green-white checker deal if you're a chaser?
Yeah.
You'd have to give him a lot of room. He's not real warm and fuzzy on those last few laps.
Hey, there is no better time for a non-chaser to win, because right now it's focused on the chase, the 12 best, the 12 best. You jump up and beat them guys, sponsors are going to be looking, owners are going to be looking, fans are going to be looking.
12 times in 60 chase races has a non-chaser taken the checkered flag in an event. That's 1 in 5. Could happen today here in New Hampshire. Still to come, 2 guys with great records of success at this New Hampshire track. Tony Stewart, a 2-time winner in pursuit of a 3rd from 3rd starting spot. We'll talk to Tony. And 3-time New Hampshire winner Kurt Busch, who was 1 bump away from another Granite State Trophy in June. We'll talk with Kurt as well. That's all coming up on NASCAR Countdown from New Hampshire.
Well, it wasn't quite jumping out of a phone booth, but it was coming out of a booth. There goes Carl off to the driver's meet. Can he put it in victory lane?
We're about to light them up here in Loudon, New Hampshire.
All right, man. Coming to the green. Be all you.
The green flag is out. Juan Pablo Montoya gets a good start.
We've got a wreck. Juan Pablo Montoya goes spinning into the wall in turn number 3.
Caution is out. Caution is out. But 20 laps to go here. Thinking we might want to get a couple. What do you think? Yeah, man, I leave that up to you.
Some guys are going to come down pit road. The first is the 48, Marty.
2 tires, 2 tires. Go, 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 go. Hey, stayed out there, big girl. 31. The only car that stayed out, looks like.
Burton and Johnson scramble into turn 1. Not surprisingly, Jimmy Johnson gets a better bite off turn 2, takes away the top spot. Kurt Busch now looking at the inside of Jimmy Johnson in turn 3. They touch. Johnson gets loose, goes high. Busch gets around him off 4.
All right, bud, plenty of time. Go get him. Keep digging. Come on. Inside.
Johnson looks to the inside. He's got a fender on the inside of Kurt Busch as the 2 head off 4. Jimmy Johnson, half car length advantage. Kurt Busch doesn't want to get ground. Here comes Stewart.
Jimmy Johnson will cruise out of turn 4 and score a victory at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Thank you, boys. Got pretty pissed off for a minute there. I thought he took one from us. 48, boys. 2 in a row. I like that. Good job.
Oh, a little strategy, a little bumper banging finish. That was the way the last Sprint Cup Series race unfolded here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And we hope for more of the same today as ESPN's NASCAR Countdown gets you ready for race number 1 in the chase for the Sprint Cup. Introduction of these 43 drivers to these 95,000 or so fans expected today are about to get underway. Let's hear from a couple of favorites to win who've taken home a lot of trophies from this track before, Vince.
That's right, Alan. Kurt Busch has won here 3 times, including the first ever chase race. He went on to win the championship that year in 2004. Kurt, what's the significance, pro or con, of getting off to a good start in the chase?
It's important. It's just like we're starting over. Everybody's at 0, and you have to build up your foundation in points. And if you come out of the gate strong and win this race, it just bodes well for all the next 10 races. So we're looking for a nice, solid run. We might have a winning car today, but most importantly, the next 3 weeks is where you just want good, consistent, smooth finishes and to gain those bonus points.
Kurt Busch, he'll roll off 12th today. Dave?
And Vince standing by with Tony Stewart, who had the Atlanta win, followed by a 16th last week at Richmond. Tony, how strong is the 14 team going into the chase?
Well, I think we're good. I mean, we've been strong ever since we got off the truck on Friday. So we've been in the top 3 of every session so far. So hopefully that's going to, I hope, translate into a good day today. But I'm really proud of Darian Grubb and everybody on the Office Depot Old Spice team. And I think our Chevy's going to be good today. So I'm just kind of keeping my fingers crossed and just getting ready for a good day, hopefully.
He starts on the inside of row 2, Alan. He can see the front already.
And hoping to finish at the front at the end of these 300 laps. Thank you, Dave, as you look at the grid and some of the drivers hanging out, getting ready to be introduced to the crowd before the start of today's event. Now, if you look at the 6 years of the chase format of determining the champion and look at the number of wins the champ had in the final 10 races and the number of bad finishes, we'll define those as 25th or worse. The title's been won with no wins in the last 10. Tony Stewart, 2005. And historically, you can't have more than one bad finish if you're going to win it. So let's talk about wins versus bad finishes. With that knowledge, how does it affect the way a race is run?
Well, depending on where you're starting, if I've got a chase car and it's starting in the back, again, I am doing nothing but getting that car in position without damage, not undamaged, without damage, for the last pit cycles. And I really firmly believe that you could win 8 chase races but bomb out of the other 2 and still not win the championship. So I believe a bad finish will hurt you a lot more than a good finish will help you.
I really believe that, the old chase, meaning last year, you could have had a mistake. You could have had a mulligan or something like that. But you know what? This is a new game. It really is right now. I mean, these guys are so much better this year. The competition is so much tighter. I don't think anybody can screw up whatsoever. They got to be game on every single race. We keep talking about make no mistakes through this whole broadcast. Guys, you can't make any mistakes. You got to be right. No mulligans. You can't have one bad run. You got to be game on, Brad. You do.
Yeah, just like you're talking about last year, you could have had a mistake. But that is the interesting thing, is we've seen Jimmie Johnson, Chad Knaus over the past 4 years, not make mistakes. So that's what's been very interesting coming into this. The drivers, their mindset has to be as a leadership role. They cannot have any seeds of doubt planted in those heads that something is going wrong. So they need to be consistent. Whoever makes mistakes, they automatically start to separate themselves from that person that's going to end up being the champion.
Kind of coming back to the theme we started with, the wide open chase. Yeah. The pack will get separated if you start making mistakes and having bad finishes, especially in these first couple of races. Well, Kyle Busch knows about winning at New Hampshire. He and his Joe Gibbs teammate Denny Hamlin are 2 chase favorites and 2 race favorites. They're next on NASCAR Countdown as we continue from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This week on Monday Night Football, Drew Brees and defending Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints take on Frank Gore and the San Francisco 49ers. It's Monday Night Football on ESPN. Monday at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. As we get ready for chase race number 1 here in New Hampshire today, there are 5 drivers in this year's chase field who were not in last year's championship. Kyle Busch is one of those. A 3-time winner this year, Busch is the 4th seed for the chase and hoping he and his team can elevate from being contenders to being champions.
The object is not to go fast, it's to go faster. Faster than the other 11 cars and the men driving them. But this isn't a race, it's the chase, where intangibles like brakes, good and bad, and fate, fortuitous and cruel, get evened out over the long haul. So what you end up with, come that last checkered flag, is a fact. The driver who wins the chase isn't lucky, possessed, or blessed. He is the best. When Kyle Busch knew his name was in the top 12, he had more than made the field. He had fulfilled a season-long quest.
come out here and this is your dream growing up as a young guy in Las Vegas, Nevada, and racing race cars out there and doing what you can to try to make it to the next level and obviously have a chance for the championship means the world.
For Busch and his team, Richmond and the regular season will soon be in the rearview mirror, with Charlotte on the horizon.
Some drivers like to go play golf all day. Some drivers like to go relax at home or not leave home, I guess. And for myself, it's just racing is everything.
A team's driver not only steers cars, he lifts spirits, gives a face to the complex factory that works behind the scenes and under the hood.
Typical days when I come here, it's always about going and seeing the guys walking through the shop, just kind of checking up on some updates of things and seeing Mark and those guys. What are you doing? Talk about some things, past weekends coming up.
Yeah?
What stuff you can work on to get better and try to get results. The 48 guys, I mean, you can't ever discount them. We can't ever count them out until you win 10 of the 10 races.
He knows what it takes to win this chase, and Chad does, the whole team does. That's their advantage.
As week one of the chase draws closer, the strategy for Loudon is ever-changing.
End of the day, we just can't beat ourselves.
Right.
Equally important is the public face of the entire team. Kyle Busch arrives in New York City for Media Day.
You feel like you've made a comeback just making the chase?
I'd rather than forget that I missed it last year, because I've wanted to forget that I missed it last year, so that's fine with me.
Meanwhile, back in Charlotte, Busch's pit crew relentlessly practices pit stops for New Hampshire, desperately trying to work out any kinks, determined not to lose a precious second.
Each team got to do 2 right to lefts, left side exchanges. Keeping in mind for Loudon, left sides are going to be a pain in the butt. Be patient on your pulls.
To go from one of the last 12 standing in 2010 to champion is no easy task. There's a multitude of obstacles Busch will face to get there, like every other driver, each driven by the same desire. The journey starts in Loudon.
Well, 2 years ago, Kyle Busch entered the chase on a roll as the hottest driver in NASCAR, but it quickly unraveled because of miscues and mechanical failures. And Kyle, today your team tells me that that will not happen and that you should be considered the favorite in the chase. Why?
Well, I'd certainly hope to think so. You know, M&M's and the guys at Toyota and everybody at JGR has done a phenomenal job this year at getting us to where we are and getting us to the chase. And Dave's done an amazing job working as hard as he has all year to develop this team and to get this team where it needs to be and where he feels like he wants it. So I feel like with all that, you know, we've got a good chance at being able to win this thing. I think it's going to come down to communication, keeping cool heads in some situations and going after it in some other areas that, you know, you might need to be a little aggressive. So right now, you know, we feel pretty good. We qualified decent, so we're happy with that. And just keep a good, steady race today and hope to stay in the top 10.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Well, and some say if Kyle is to win it, his biggest challenge will come from his teammate, Denny Hamlin.
And Doc, after stumbling a few times in the previous month, Denny Hamlin got back on track by dominating and winning the race last Saturday in Richmond, Virginia. His 6th win of the year, which earned him the #1 seed in the chase. But Jamie, today Hamlin starts 22nd.
Leading the points for the first time in his career. Denny, you've been in this situation the last 4 years coming into the chase. High hopes, but one thing or another takes you out of the championship. Why will it be different this time?
Well, I think we're stronger than what we've ever been in the course of my career, and you know, all we can do is worry about me, and that's one thing I said I'd do this chase is not look at the scoreboard, and so I'm going to have blinders on today.
All right, Denny Hamlin will have a little work to do. He starts 22nd, Alan.
Jamie, thank you. And about to go for the ride around the racetrack to see the fans in the grandstands here at New Hampshire. Both Hamlin and Busch have entered the championship before as one of the favorites, and it hasn't worked out either time. What are the keys for the Gibbs team to win this year's chase?
Well, the coach already knows it. Blocking and tackling and no turnovers. As they started the chase, both of the guys, the 18 and the 11, have both been up front and had mechanical problems or engine failures. They've got to stop that. Last year, or 2 years ago, Kyle lost that sway bar Heim. It was loose, fell off. It made the car handle bad. Denny Hamlin started off with engine problems, so they've kind of taken themselves out. I'm sorry, this is actually a driver mistake there, and Denny took full credit for that.
So a couple of mechanical failures and a driver error.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch, a couple of mechanical failures, which maybe led to some driver errors.
Sure. It all comes down to Kyle and Denny. The mechanical things are going to be things that they cannot control. Those things may happen. But if you think about Denny Hamlin, you go back a couple of weeks ago at Atlanta when they had a blown motor, they were talking to him. You heard him post-race talking about how good their season has been and hopefully that they can overcome that. He was trying to pump himself up to bring confidence into this chase. So that tells me right there there's a little bit of seepage. And with Kyle Busch, we've seen how he has reacted over and throughout the season. It's been very, very consistent when things don't go well. Can they change that mental attitude as they get into this chase and give themselves an opportunity?
Brad, you know, I really do think, though, that these two drivers are good enough to win the championship. I think they can do that. If they just can't make the mistakes like we talked about all the time, that's what's really killed them. Their team has made mistakes, they've made mistakes, and I really think they have learned from those mistakes now.
Yeah.
So they got the drivers that can do it, and I think they've learned, hey, they could be a little scary, these guys. They're pretty good.
Seepage.
I knew you'd like that. Yeah. I knew that's what it was.
We'll see if seepage is a good thing for the Gibbs guys or not. We'll see if the dark horses.
Drip.
There's Jimmy Johnson getting ready to go. If one of the 4-time champions in the field, speaking of Jimmy, begin to drive for 5 with a trophy today, those stories and more when NASCAR Countdown continues from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, where seepage has become the word of the day.
It's bad stuff, man. Don't let it get you.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway on a beautiful September afternoon, where race 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup is about to begin. So the number one question we all get all the time is, who's going to win today's race? And certainly we've been asked a lot this week, who's going to win the championship? Well, no one knows for sure, but we decided to have some fun with numbers. Let's call it NASCAR's new math.
The new math formula for predicting the 2010 Chase champion uses points, awarded for where each driver historically ranks in starts, averages and wins, top 10s, finishes, and laps led for each track at the Chase. Jimmy Johnson takes an early lead at Loudon. Denny Hamlin, who has 6 regular season wins this year, struggles at Dover and Kansas, so drops in the standings. Jeff Gordon, however, is nearly perfect at Kansas, so he'll be hot on Johnson's heels after this race. Jeff Burton, only behind Gordon and Johnson in wins per start at Charlotte, will make up some points. And then there's Talladega. Greg Biffle and Clint Bowyer traditionally have their worst performances at this track, and neither's Chase hopes will improve the rest of the season. Jimmy Johnson's amazing stats at Phoenix will solidify his Chase lead, while Kyle Busch makes a brief comeback, only to have the bottom drop out at Homestead. Carl Edwards' great runs in South Beach won't be enough. So after all the number crunching and complicated formulas, the prediction is simple. Jimmy Johnson's drive for 5 will be a success.
All right, so you add it up that way, and you come out with Jimmy. But while we were messing around with numbers, we asked our analysts to grade the Chase drivers and teams in these 7 categories, ranging from driver to crew and crew chief to the old intangibles. 1 to 10 scale. We added the numbers up to see how they would predict the champion based on those separate categories. If you look, the numbers mostly added up to our analysts picking these drivers or this driver to be champion, Jimmy Johnson. The numbers came out the same way, new math or that math, by the way. But as we bring in Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie to talk about this a little further, what the numbers added up to and what your gut tells you are not necessarily the same thing, right, DJ?
Well, Alan, anytime you give a bunch of drivers and crew chiefs a piece of paper and pencil, you never know what you're going to come up with. And we could put these numbers down any way that you want and probably come up with the case for any of these drivers to be the favorite here. But Jimmy Johnson was my favorite when I put all the numbers down, and I think, well, he should be. But it's not all about that. That's why we run these 10 races, and I'm a big believer in momentum, and I think that there's another guy that has the momentum that has gathered the most points in these last 16 races. That's going to continue. My pick is Tony Stewart to win this championship. You can see I gave him a driver rating of 10. I gave that to 2 other drivers also, Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch. But there are a lot of things about Tony Stewart and his team that I like that's going to make him the champion at the end of these 10 races.
Well, DJ, like you, my numbers came out to be the 48 like everybody else's. Duh. I mean, who's going to bet against Chad and Jimmy? Well, that's where I go from analyst to kind of fortune teller, because my numbers told me Jimmy, but my gut was telling me Kyle Busch in the 18. And when we look at the numbers that Kyle put up, I gave him high ranks driver and crew chief, but the big thing is intangibles. And that's because I think he and Dave Rogers' crew chief are young guys that are ready to unseat the champion, like Jeff Gordon and I and the Rainbow Warriors were in 1995. We weren't supposed to win it, but we believed we could.
Did you say fortune telling?
Fortune telling.
You need to stay out of the soothsaying business. If you ain't picking Jimmy Johnson, I'll tell you that right now. Something wrong with you. Hey, Jimmy Johnson and Chad Canals, this combination, the intangibles that these guys have, the experience that they have of winning 4 championships in a row. Hey, I know the spoiler has not been their best friend. That golden horseshoe did drop from wherever it fell from. But I'll tell you what, when it comes winning time, when it comes pay winning time, you cannot bet against this guy in his drive for 5. It's just been history over the last 4 years. Soothsaying, what are you talking about?
I see a turkey sandwich.
Talking about Willis?
Well, my deal, I picked Kevin Harvick. You look at all the numbers that lines up for Kevin Harvick, but that's not who I'm picking to win this championship. It's Denny Hamlin. Why? Well, look, this guy's got a lot of momentum, guys. Yeah. I mean, he ran so good at Atlanta, Georgia. I know he blew a motor, but he was fast. He ran really good there. Then he went to Richmond and dominated that race. He really got it done. But, you know, one of the main reasons I'm picking Denny Hamlin is that pit crew right there. Every single time they come down pit road, him and his partner, Kyle Busch, are one of the fastest out there. I give him a 10 because of the pit crew, and anytime as a driver I can come down pit road and come out number 1, that is big at this particular track and at any track.
And guys, when I sit down to do mine and fill out my sheet, I did that with a gut feeling that Jimmy Johnson wasn't the favorite. He was my favorite just when I think about it. When I put the numbers down, it kind of shows me the same thing. I really had a hard time finding any weaknesses in that 48 team. And as I looked down through there, you know, I must have been really early in the morning when I gave Jimmy Johnson a 9. It should have been a 10. The number should even be higher. The only place I see is maybe the engines where they're not the strongest, and that might be one little weakness. But those intangibles right there are definitely going to carry Jimmy Johnson to the next championship.
It was really will be fascinating. So bottom line, no matter who you pick to win the championship, based on your statistical analysis or your gut feeling, we all agree this is wide open, and the gut feeling's about as good as a numerical analysis, right?
Fortune telling.
Yeah, I think Brad won the conversation part here.
Ray says he sees a turkey sandwich in my future.
That's probably true.
There's a lot of opinions out there.
DJ Eddie will talk to you for the call of the race in just a little while.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, guys. Up next, the man who tries to make history again. Jimmy Johnson begins his quest for a 5th straight cup. We hear from him when the countdown continues. NASCAR Countdown getting you ready for race 1 in the 2010 Chase for the Sprint Cup, a 300-lapper at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Quick reminder, at the top of the hour, our race coverage will move from ESPN2, where you are now, over to ESPN. We'll give you plenty of warnings so you can grab the remote and move with us. When the last 4 seasons ended, it was the same man holding the big trophy. Jimmy Johnson has done what no other driver ever has, winning 4 consecutive championships at NASCAR's top level, and today begins chasing a 5th straight cup at a track where he is the most recent race winner. Johnson has simply dominated competition in the Chase format. In the 40 Chase races he's been in, he's won 12, finished in the top 5 24 times, and averaged a 7th place result. That is rising to the occasion when it matters the most, and the reason Double J is a 4-time champion. Johnson begins this race from 25th position, Dave.
And in none of the championship years, Alan, did he ever win here at New Hampshire. So should we talk to Genevieve or you about the race today and running this track? Because it seems like, other than this spring when you did very well, let's move on. Okay, so starting the chase here, how do you feel about your strength here at New Hampshire?
I feel really good about it. We didn't get the best lap in qualifying, but at the end of the day, they don't pay points in qualifying. It's the race that's here today, and we have 300 laps to make it right. Certainly in a bad situation to start, but we ended up getting lucky on pit road and having a good pit pick, and yesterday we made our car really competitive. So I feel great for the Lotus Impala, the chances for the race today. Our goal is to get to the top 10, kind of reassess where we're at that point, and see who the players are and how we can beat them. The biggest thing today is to not beat ourselves, and make sure we come out of here with a good solid finish and roll on into Dover.
All right, he starts the chase with 5 wins, 2nd seed today, and Genevieve's first appearance on the grid. Vince?
With another 4-time champion, Jeff Gordon. He's won here 3 times as well. He's had some good runs at New Hampshire in recent years also. How were you with your car in that final practice? It seemed like it was better than what you'd had earlier in the weekend.
Yeah, in the morning we fought a few things, but I felt like when the Goodyear rubber was laid down the track and the track heated up more like race conditions, I thought that our DuPont National Guard Facebook Chevrolet was awesome. So I feel really good about today. This has been, like you said, a good track for us. this team's fired up about this chase, and we're a very strong team. We just got to go out there and show what we're capable of doing, live up to our full potential. But this is a good track for us, so let's hope we can take advantage of that and get the chase started off right.
Jeff in the 24 rolls off 17th. Alan.
Vince, thanks. There are a lot of things these championship chasers can't control, which makes it very important they manage the things they can control, and that is all about preparation. For more on that, we go to our Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer. Tim?
Thanks, Alan. Each crew member that prepares this car, they've got a job to do. It doesn't matter if it's under the dash, around the brake pedals, even in the engine. But here, 2 years ago, what happened? This heim joint right here, the jam nut that you see on the bottom, it was not tightened properly. And what happened? During the race, it actually came loose. And when it fell off the car became unhandleable. Handleable, that's a good word. You couldn't handle the car properly, so the car got to turning over. So the next thing you know, Kyle spun the car out, and that nut being left loose is what cost him an opportunity to win a championship.
Brewer, put your unhandleable next to Brad Seepage, and you're both in good company for the countdown today.
Well, unhandleable Seepage.
There you go. Let's not go there. Let's dig into our Busch's Beans recipe for success now. Some ingredients for a successful day on this tough mile track today. Rusty, tell me what about it for the driver?
For the driver, number one, just like you wrote there, patience. It is one of the most important things you've got to have at this particular racetrack. I mean, turns 1 and 2, they will suck you into mistakes. As a driver, I would always want to dive bomb down into turn 1, dive bomb into turn 3, and if you get too deep, you'll spin, you'll crash, and you'll make your own mistakes. Trust me, I've been there, done it. So patience, number one.
And for the crew chief and the drivers, it's about cycles, and it has nothing to do with a Harley.
That's right. You got to make sure you dive bomb down into the pits when I tell you to. You've got to keep tires and fuel on that car in cycle with the people that you're racing. Watch, Jeff Burton last year chooses not to pit. Boom, Jimmy Johnson comes in. Everybody follows him in, leaves Burton on the racetrack with bad tires.
And Burton did not win that race. In fact, he ended up getting spun out, fading back through traffic. We saw a great finish in the June race here.
Oh, yeah.
Now the chase is on. We're in the let 'em race era. How's it all tie in?
Well, it was great watching Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson race here last time, and you saw what happened. You had to use the fender in order to gain position. It's going to be interesting. A lot of different agendas out here today. A lot of guys are going to be a little bit cautious, but you're going to have to move people just a little bit in order to gain track position. Big flat racetrack means fender to fender.
So this most wide open of championship chases about to get underway here in New Hampshire. A reminder, the countdown's complete. Now grab the remote control because our coverage of today's race moves over to ESPN in just a few seconds. It's race 1 in the chase for the Sprint Cup. What'll be a very hard-fought one at the Magic Mile. You can't win the title today, but you sure can put a hurting on your chances to win it with a bad result. We find out what happens on ESPN. Got the remote control? Change channels now. In NASCAR, it's the beginning of the second season, the chase for the Sprint Cup. A chase many, including the drivers, are calling the most wide open ever. And the first of 10 races to determine this year's champion is about to unfold at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And ESPN welcomes you to the Sylvania 300 from New England's largest sports stadium. For most, it's a win or bust day. Nothing else matters for the 12 chasing the Cup. There's so much more at stake. Let's go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Please remain standing as the Department of Defense Combined Services Color Guard presents our national colors. Please welcome Father Jonathan D. Felice, President of St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire, as he offers today's invocation.
Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we are so very grateful for this beautiful New Hampshire day and for the opportunity we have to enjoy the sport of the race. Lord, protect and guide all the men and women in our armed services at home and abroad who protect and defend our great nation and the freedoms we enjoy. Lord, protect the drivers, their assistants, and all the fans gathered here. As we move from the silence of this moment to the roar of the engines started, their speed will thrill us and their skill impress us. Keep us safe from this moment until the day when you gather us all into your kingdom. We ask this through Christ our Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 11-year-old Anthony Gargiula from Glenmont, New York, as he performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-stained gold banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And so we're set to go with a situation unique in all of sports. Those who've made the cut and will compete for a championship still doing so amidst a full field of 43 who want to win this race for themselves. And they'll do so on a very tough mile track where push often comes to shove and where a sure thing can quickly be turned inside out by other strategy. What will we remember most from round one of the chase? We begin finding out next.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Sylvania 300 is brought to you by Silver Star Ultra Headlights from Sylvania. See farther, see wider, see better. Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The choice of tailgaters, Busch's Baked Beans. And the new Ford Fiesta. It's a pretty big deal.
Fans are here. Green flag is in the air.
The chase.
We're underway.
NASCAR's call to glory.
Young Jeff Gordon has won the championship.
Busch wins. Here comes Mac Kenseth. A big trophy will go to Tony Stewart.
Jimmy Johnson has gone where no other driver has ever gone.
12 men with something to prove and something to hide. Everyone's got a secret, a strength, a weakness, a fear. It can box them in. It can push them forward.
Checker flag, you are the man.
But the chase has an uncanny way of exposing secrets.
The more you work on it, the more it's going to get tight, and I can't turn or I'm getting run over.
The gauntlet drops at New Hampshire. An open road of possibility with no alibi.
Come on, guys, no confidence race.
Just 10 races to prove greatness. It takes iron will to become a champion. To be aggressive in the face of danger defies logic.
They're 4 wide. Holy cow!
Because the very nature of NASCAR is chaos, and the choices made in its wake will separate the pack. Do you retreat with a fool's promise that next time will be different?
That man wants to win a race.
Or do you empty the tank of uncertainty and cut it loose?
Tony Stewart is back in the win column.
The secrets unravel on race day as 12 men walk the line and chase the cup.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about, boys.
10 races to prove greatness, and the line those 12 drivers will walk begins at the Magic Mile as ESPN brings you live coverage of the Sylvania 300 from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire. It's all about the numbers today. 43 drivers for 300 laps. 12 of those drivers chasing one championship trophy. And where those chasers are concerned, the law of averages is king. A bad finish, 25th or worse, hurts your championship in a big way. Only once in 6 years has the eventual champion finished outside the top 10 in this opening chase race. And in this most wide open of chase fields, which driver can make the early statement? Can one of those who made the chase but have yet to win this year fire the opening salvo? Or will NASCAR's reigning king, who's been called vulnerable by his competitors, put a stop to that chatter with yet another clutch chase performance? Let's go trackside and start them up.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the start-finish line and welcome today's Grand Marshal, Vice President of Industrial and Commercial Lighting for Sylvania, Mr. Mark Corcoran, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Hey, New Hampshire. What's up, New England? On behalf of Sylvania Lighting Products and all the NASCAR fans in the U.S., gentlemen, start your engine!
That's a nice way to work that all in together. So the field fired up and getting ready to roll off. And as they get ready to roll off, a look at the race within the race. The 12 drivers chasing the championship. Now they're in the chase because they run up front more than most. And this track certainly holds true on that account. 10 of the 12 chase drivers have scored a win at this New Hampshire track. Who will it be getting first to the checkered flag today? Well, let's begin to find out. For the call of the race, we go upstairs to 2001 New Hampshire race winner Dale Jarrett with champion crew chief Andy Petrie and Marty Reed. Marty?
All right, thank you, Alan. Hello again, everybody. You know, if this was the last race of the chase at Homestead, Miami, we'd be saying, hey, it's just go for broke. But this is the first race, so the big question is risk versus reward.
Well, Marty, all these teams came here with the mind of winning this race. Most of them brought brand new race cars, and their programs are just now coming together for this chase. They're going to do everything they can to win, but it would be a mistake today if they go out there and try to throw it all away to try to get just one win. I think that if they have a good, solid finish, the thing they should do is to try to take that finish. Don't take a lot of chances, but they're still going to be going for that win.
I'd caution you on that a little bit. I know that's what all the drivers and the crew chiefs are saying. We need to just come out here with a good, solid finish. I will mind you that I have raced and talked with these guys that are out here today, and whenever they put that helmet on and flip that switch, all that kind of goes out the window. They're thinking about winning this race. They know they can send a real statement if they win this race today as to who they're going to have to beat when it comes down to the end of this. So I think they're going to take a chance if they have that opportunity. If it costs them a few points in the end, they know they've got 9 races to make it up.
And don't forget, there's 31 other guys that would love to spoil the party of the 12 in the chase. In fact, one of them is sitting on pole. It is Brad Keselowski, his first career pole in his 44th start. He set a new track record doing it in style and gave Team Penske its 7th pole here at New Hampshire. Across the top of your screen, your starting grid. 2 did not qualify. Johnny Sauter, Jeff Green. 2 are going to the rear. Andy Lally for a transmission and David Gilliland for an engine change. For our onboard cameras, let's go around for Mark Martin, Tony Stewart. We'll talk to Greg Biffle in just a moment. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Marcus Ambrose, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Carl Edwards. And speaking of our in-race reporter, DJ, let's talk to Greg.
Hey, Greg, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Yeah, the 19. The 19,
Yeah,
I'll show you when you come around. He is
Here, they're
the
taking a
third
minute
one
to
past
chat
there.
and get things right
You'll have
here.
The 83, then the 19, which is Air Force, and I'll show you when you come around. Once you get your whole car into the 19th box, because it's in the 83's front part of his box, I'll tell you, I'll say get up, and then you can go. And then we just got to stop, a couple feet shy in our box, and we're good to go. Then when you dig, you'll click that next one. You'll be kind of slow to start. So if a guy's like...
Just trying to make sure that Greg understands everybody that's around him here
and when you
as
get
he
to the
comes
middle
into
of
pit
curve, where
road.
the guy's running the broom up there, the back guy running the broom, that's where the line's at.
Hey, Greg, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Okay, man. Sounds good. Let's have a good day here. 3 in pit bulls, just like you done all year. Hell of a job getting us here, everybody. Let's just fight hard here for 10 weeks. This thing is way in our grasp here. We just got to go get it.
Hey, Greg, DJ, you have a copy?
DJ.
Hey, man, our first question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Cody in Omaha, Nebraska asks, how does your mindset change during the chase, knowing that one mediocre finish could cost you the championship?
We're totally thinking about that, and we've just done everything we can to be ready for this these 10 races. We know that we're going to have good finishes the whole way through, and we're focused on that, get our cars as good as we can. Pit crew's doing a great job. The guys getting the cars ready are doing a great job. We just got to get it done on the racetrack and be smart.
Hey, Greg, you won these first 2 races in the chase in 2008, and that propelled you to a 3rd-place finish that year. Does your team have you prepared for that type of start today?
Absolutely. We got a great 3 and 4 Fusion car. We're pretty good at practice, and pretty wide open field. I think a couple wins here early on is going to set the stage.
All right, Greg, thanks for talking with us. We'll talk to you later on now. Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Greg Irwin.
Hey, Greg Irwin, Andy Petrie, you got us?
Hey, Andy, loud and clear.
Hey, Greg, let's talk a little strategy. The race earlier this year, there was a lot of green flag stops, and we saw some people actually pitting early. Can you kind of walk us through that strategy?
Yeah, Andy, we call that short pitting, and a lot of times, teams will do that, trying to make up time on the leader. What you're trying to do there is just maximize your time on fresh tires. At some racetracks, it can be, half a second, maybe 3/4 of a second a lap for 5 or 10 laps. The nice thing about that is some of these places now with the wave around rule have take some of the risk of that out. We get the opportunity to kind of catch back up if we get caught on pit road. We'll be a little bit short on gas, but we get this wave around and put you back on the lap.
Okay, Greg, well, good luck with your strategy today, and thanks for talking to us.
Have a good day, Andy. Thank you.
All right, as we go over the wall, we'll say hello to Anwar Parrish. He's our front tire carrier from the number 37 of David Gillen. You have a great, safe day down there, Anwar. And pit stops need to be quick. To give you an idea just how quick, let's put our pit reporters on the clock. Dave Burns, you're up.
Marty, pit lane is the world of adding fuel, making adjustments, and changing 4 tires in under 14 seconds. These guys work on speed all the time, but they have to be precise with their feet and their hands, Doc.
Chase co-favorites Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson start mid-pack at a track where it's very difficult to pass. So look for one or both crew chiefs to roll the dice on pit strategy for track position. Jamie.
But Kurt Busch is the only chaser in the field without a teammate in the chase, but he's never worked better with his 2 teammates. With Brad Keselowski on the pole, Sam Hornish running the same setup, they can be the help that Kurt needs. Vince?
He's won at Daytona and the Brickyard. Can he be a chase spoiler too? Jamie McMurray has been among the fastest this weekend, and his team says they'll take chances to continue their trend of big wins. Marty?
Everybody right in around 10 seconds. Great job, guys. And a good pit stop is anything around 12, 13.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Very good.
Pretty quick.
All right, let's take a look at the track facts. We talked about a flat track. Take a look at the corners, and DJ, you said it Friday. It doesn't even feel like it's 2 degrees.
No, you don't feel like you have any of that. And if you're in that 7 degrees of banking, you're in trouble. I promise you. It's up against the wall.
All right, as we get ready to go green, let's listen in on Jimmy Johnson's radio.
All right, fellas. This is where it all begins. Let's go out there and have some fun today. I feel really excited about it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. All we need to do is be nice and smooth, do our jobs, roll out here with a good, solid top 10 finish. Get this thing kicked off right.
So words of advice from Chad Knaus as they are ready to go. Jimmy Johnson only has 2 wins when starting 21st or worse. He's got his work cut out for him today, starting back in the 25th position.
Had a fast car in practice and really worked hard on it. And Jimmy drove the car extremely hard in practice. Watch how he practiced the car, and looked like it was pretty good.
Yeah, something tells me Chad can say that, but he's not going to be happy with just a top 10 finish.
No.
They want to win today.
All right, lights are out on the pace car. It's going to be coming around turn 4 and pulling down onto pit road. Get ready, because the first race of the 2010 chase for the Sprint Cup Championship right here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the Sylvania 300 is green.
Jimmy Johnson 3 wide already.
Trying to get under Marcus Ambrose. And the great start for the 12 of Brad Keselowski. Whoa, Burton lights him up going into 3.
Well, Jimmy taking some chances here in these first few corners.
3 wide. Man. It's Regan Smith on the high side. Marcus Ambrose in the middle. There's Jimmy. Here comes Ryan Newman as well. The view from Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick right there in this mix too. Here's Tony Stewart trying to get 5 bonus points right from the start.
Does it surprise you? As fastest pretty much all weekend long. Qualified 3rd. Here he goes shooting around for the front spot. Meanwhile, further back, Jimmy Johnson has gotten around Ambrose. And there's Harvick right behind.
And Jimmy being extremely aggressive early.
On board with Kevin.
Well, the start of this race and these restarts are the most tedious for these drivers because air pressures are low. There's not a lot of grip in this racetrack. Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick being very aggressive from the start, though.
Johnson's up to 22nd. How about Ryan Newman as he is marching up with him there? Newman in the 26th position right now. Mark Martin right behind that group. And what a difference a year makes.
Yeah, Mark's last win was right here last year.
Jimmy Johnson 3 wide again.
He is really squeezing. That's Denny Hamlin right underneath him. There's your first and second seeds. And Casey Mears is on the high side.
Gosh, man, look at this.
Right below, contact. Hamlin gets in the quarter panel. And look at Harvick goes down low, and he may pick up a couple of spots.
Looks like Denny Hamlin may have got the worst of that. His left front fender may have got some damage from it.
Well, DJ, you were right. You said risk versus reward. You would be willing to take the risks. These guys are going for it early.
I'll tell you, yeah, you can do all that talking that you want, but when you strap in there, you're thinking about going to the front.
Remember one of the guys we talked about outside the chase that could play the role of spoiler? Look,
McMurray just moved Bowyer.
Jamie McMurray says, I don't care if you're in the chase, Clint. I'm going around you.
You know, NASCAR doesn't say anything to these other drivers that aren't in the chase about staying away from these guys. This is just wide open racing. You know, these guys are here for a reason, too.
You know, I knew the gloves were going to be off when this chase started, but man,
that's
some hard racing.
McMurray in front of Bowyer. And now here we go. Let's go a little bit. Here comes Biffle. And Jeff Gordon right underneath him. Now tucks in behind him. On the high side is Sam Hornish and Martin Truex. Looking back from Biffle's on board. A little bit further back.
Yeah, you see Denny Hamlin getting a good run now. Getting right back to Jimmy Johnson.
Johnson's up to 19.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
I thought I saw that coming.
Hamlin.
Elliott Sadler to the inside. They're 3 wide again.
Elliott has the preferred line going down into turn number 1.
Who's going to give?
Nobody's giving. Here we go. Sadler backs off just a little bit. Here comes Harvick going to try and squeeze through and follow the 11.
Did we wake up in Talladega this morning?
I believe that was a cheap shot. I understand, but we don't need to be going 3 wide just yet either.
I agree.
That was Jimmy's radio, and boy, I'll tell you what, if this is any indication, we got 10 great races coming.
Jimmy say, okay, we'll go 4 wide next lap then. If you don't want 3 wide, he's on it.
All right, Harvick's in 21st. Right in front of him is Johnson and Hamlin. They are trying to march their way towards the front. Maybe they were listening to Ray Evernham, who said you better be in the top 5 by lap 150. All right, let's go back and check in up front because smoke is smoking. 1.1 seconds over Juan Pablo Montoya, who has gotten around Brad Keselowski for second. Bowyer is 4th. McMurray is 5th here at the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire. From high above, you can see the gap between 1st and 2nd here at New Hampshire as Tony Stewart's opened up a 2.5 lead at the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire over Juan Pablo Montoya, Brad Keselowski, Clint Bowyer, and look at this, the teammates going side by side. Gordon and Johnson, this is for 17th, and here comes Denny Hamlin.
You can see Jimmy Johnson's got back by Denny Hamlin, now going around Jeff Gordon. When he got to Hamlin, he kind of let him go by, Doc.
Indeed he did, DJ. And, you know, Jimmy Johnson was so pumped at how well he ran in happy hour late yesterday. He said, you know, if we got a good car, we might as well go ahead and use it. And even better than that, he had the best 5-lap and 15-lap average of anybody in that final section. And not only is the car good early, it's good over a long run. Right now, Jimmy on his march toward the top 10.
And you know, Doc, I watched that 18, and he seemed, I mean, the 48, he seemed to be driving that car extremely hard in practice. I mean, he was like trying to run the tires off of it, and was still the fastest in those 15-lap runs.
Well, the Busch brothers running nose to tail right now. Kyle in front of Kurt, 8th and 9th on the screen.
We've seen these guys race each other extremely hard over the years, trying to go for wins and things. I don't think we'll see anything crazy at this point in time of the race, but you never know what will happen, Vince.
Well, the area that has caused this team problems, the 18 throughout the course of the weekend, is turns 1 and 2. They felt pretty good in 3 and 4, but 1 and 2 has been an issue. As you see Kurt go underneath his brother, Kyle. Kyle says that the rear just feels like it's wanting to step out, doesn't have much grip to it. They've really liked their car coming into the weekend, but it's been a little bit of a handful here early.
And to just finish up on Kyle, he led 156 laps in his truck win yesterday. His 18th win this year in NASCAR competition. 3 in Cup, 10 on the Nationwide, 5 on the trucks.
Yeah, these guys have to be a little careful at trying to make adjustments. There were other races yesterday. The trucks are close to the same tire, but they also had a late model race here that put down a different rubber. So you always had to caution yourself what your car was going early on. You had to be careful and get about 30 laps in here, Andy.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. It was the last race that was run on the track. It was a late model race, and it does take a few laps to burn that. You know, it's a different brand of tire they run, so you have to kind of burn through that, lay down this Goodyear rubber like they are right now. And you see Clint Bowyer laying some down off that corner. He's coming pretty good, but it does take a little while to get the track kind of stabilized from that.
Bowyer has gotten around Keselowski for third. Up in second, it is Montoya. And, of course, Tony Stewart is still the race leader. We've had 2 leaders. Keselowski led lap number 1. The other 17 have been led by Tony Stewart. But keep an eye on that 33 right there. The Cheerio Chevrolet is on the move. His last lap, 0.2 of a second quicker than Tony Stewart's here at the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire. Make sure to go to Goodyear.com to check out Goodyear Support Our Troops program, and there you can send a thank you message from a NASCAR driver. You can enter to win a chance on a 2011 Ford Taurus or other great prizes. And we're keeping our eyes on the battle for second place. There's Tony Stewart right in the middle of your screen from high above, but there comes second and third, Juan Pablo Montoya, and here comes Clint Bowyer.
Yeah, Clint's been chewing away at both of the leaders, both of the top 2. A couple of tenths a lap. I mean, his car really working good on the bottom of the racetrack. See right here now, he's kind of bearing down on Montoya. Montoya probably let him go.
You think?
Well, he's going to have to, whether he likes it or not.
I don't think. Montoya's always wanted to race pretty hard, but you can see he does give that spot away. When a guy runs you down from about a half a straightaway back.
Whoa! We have contact on the wall, the 82 of Scott Speed, and he has not been feeling well. In fact, Eric Almirola took care of final practice for him yesterday. He had some kind of virus.
You see some places on his left side tires like he's had some contact with another car. May have caused this.
So not only did he feel poorly coming into the race, he feels really bad right now.
Yeah, that's too bad. Awful early.
Our first caution comes out on lap number 26. Let's go back, take a look, see if we can see what happened. Oh, he got help.
It's like Bobby Labonte may have helped him around just a little bit.
He got that damage as the car went by him then. It's like he might have got just into the right door and around into the inside wall.
So a tough break for Scott, and there you see he is out of the car. He's okay. But his race is over. They had Eric Almirola standing by in case they needed him. They won't, unfortunately. Here we go. First round of pit stops. Tony Stewart brings him down pit road. And let's send it to Vince.
Tony Stewart likes his car so far. He says it's got good forward bite. They're going to give him 4 fresh tires, make a slight air pressure adjustment for the leader, Tony Stewart. Now, the 33 car, Clint Bowyer, has been good as well. He says it takes off a little bit loose, but it comes in. They're going to go with 2 tires on the 33, Jamie.
And your pole sitter, Brad Keselowski, number 1 pit box for him. He's saying he just has no side bite. Right side tires is the call. He's down and away. Let's see how he hangs in there, Marty.
Oh, yes, the Longhorn Steakhouse race off pit road. Clint Bowyer picks up a spot. McMurray picks up 3. Look at Jimmy Johnson taking 2 tires. His crew picks up 6 spots, puts him in the top 10. Oof, that is huge. So the first round of pit stops, we told you, you got to be quick. These guys were quick and good. Well, we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here at New Hampshire after 28 laps. Our first caution for the Scott Speed incident in the front straightaway. Clint Bowyer will be your race leader with McMurray second, Keselowski third, Edwards fourth, and because of a 4-tire change, Tony Stewart finds himself all the way back in 18th position. Pace car pulls off. Let you know Jimmy Johnson has picked up 10 spots on the track himself, 5 courtesy or 6 courtesy of his pit crew, and we're back under green.
Let's see if Jimmy Johnson's going to be as aggressive on this restart as he was at the start of this race.
There you can see him in the 4th row back there.
McMurray fighting hard to try to keep the lead here. Just nose out in front of Clint Bowyer.
Keselowski wants to get in this mix as well. Remember, he started on pole for today. There's Carl Edwards, David Ruderman right behind them. Then Kyle Busch, A.J. Allmendinger, and Jimmy Johnson.
Look at McMurray really drive the car down in the corner hard.
Yeah, you can see that Hurts in there getting back to the throttle. Bowyer got back to the gas and made a nice run off the corner.
Here comes McMurray back.
He's got the inside line, heading down into 3. Can he make it stick this time?
Jamie McMurray's trying to continue a fantastic season he's had so far. A couple of big wins at Daytona 500, Brickyard 400.
Two good non-chase racers right there with Brad Keselowski and David Ruderman. As we said, 6 of the top 10 qualifiers were not in the chase. And here we go on more with Carl Edwards.
Well, we see all these cars up front that took 2 tires. And if you're not one of the cars that took 4 tires, it's going to take some patience right now to be able to have a car that you can compete with later because they're way back in traffic. You see Tony Stewart now trying to fight his way back up.
Yeah, and as a driver, you really just have to, as you said, Andy, be extremely patient here because here you were pretty much running away from the field, and now you're mired back in traffic.
But here's what's going to happen. If we run another 25 or 30 lap segment, you'll see the cars that took 2 take 4. There'll be an opportunity for Tony Stewart, Jeff Burton, some of the cars that took 4 tires to take 2 tires and kind of reverse the roles on all these guys. So just takes a lot of patience.
Let's go a little farther forward. A.J. Allmendinger feeling a little racy on Kyle Busch. That is for 6th, and right behind him, the ever-present Jimmy Johnson.
And A.J.'s able to make that pass. He's had some really good runs here lately. This team's really starting to come around. That moves A.J. up into the 6th spot.
Allmendinger started this race in the 6th position. Split screen for you. And you can see Denny Hamlin along with Jeff Gordon on the left. On the right side, you've got Kyle Busch and Jimmy going after it for 7th.
See, right there's where Kyle's struggling just a little bit with his cars. Right in the center of the corner, Jimmy was able to get back to the throttle a little bit quicker, and that's going to put him in front of Kyle Busch now.
McMurray still all over the back bumper of the 33 of Clint Bowyer. You know, Bowyer started the chase last in 2007, came here and won the race, and he led 222 of the 300 laps in that event. So, deja vu, perhaps?
All over again?
Okay, Yogi.
And we watched Clint here, and his car didn't seem to be the best whenever the race started on fresh tires, but as they went on, his car seemed to be a lot better.
Top of the screen, guys, I just saw Kyle Busch. He tapped the wall as he came out of 4. Don't know if there was any serious damage on the 18. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Another guy that we've sort of been wondering about is, where's Kevin Harvick? Way back there.
Man, he is way back.
Harvick in 27th position right now, and normally his trademark has been, yeah, I'll start deep in the field, but I'll be moving forward. What's going on, Dave?
That'll be a little later, Marty, because right now he is really angry that they didn't take just 2 tires. They took 4. They made an air pressure adjustment to help a car that was mostly tight in the center, a little loose up, but right now he's a little hot under the collar because he's got to deal with all that traffic.
Well, as DJ, you pointed out, he may be thankful a little bit later. Let's listen on the radio.
The same cars we already passed, and a few that we didn't already pass.
Yes. Really frustrating as a driver. You get in that position, and the problem with it now, you say, well, maybe they can make that up later. Well, the surprise is gone now. Who's going to get 2 and who's going to get 4? So it's going to make it more difficult.
Right there you see David Reagan in the 6th with Juan Pablo Montoya. A couple of chasers behind him with Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon. Whoa, and they almost touched. Busch going to go to the high side now. That is from 13th on back.
I'm looking at the lap times, too, from Clint Bowyer. He's on 2 tires, and some of the cars up front, they're real close to what they were running early in the race when they had 4 fresh tires. So looks like it's a really good move to just take 2 tires.
If this is going to show up that they're going to slow down, it's going to be probably after about 25 to 30 laps. Then we may see a drop-off. We'll have to really keep an eye on that.
Carl Edwards on the right side trying to get 4th place away from David Ruderman. You saw Gordon get around Kurt Busch to take over the 15th spot, but here comes Kurt looking for an edge on the inside.
Yeah, we've all been asked all week long, can you win this chase and win the championship without winning a race for the entire year? And we're looking at two guys that haven't won. There's Jeff Gordon on the left, and there was Carl Edwards, but neither one of these guys have won. But yes, they could possibly win this championship without.
Oh, no, a crash with the 47 of Ambrose and the 98 of Paul Menard.
Caution now, caution.
Second caution on lap number 40 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
It's like both of these cars escaped real damage. Just spun out there, maybe some contact between them.
They were running for 18th position on the track at the time of the contact. There is no one lap down, so there'll be no lucky dog. We do have 3 cars that have gone behind the wall. We'll update you on that. McDowell, Castle, and of course, Scott Speed.
We got a little bit higher up.
See the tire mark on the 47. Let's go back, take another look.
Ambrose diving in the corner.
Gets a little bit loose down on that very bottom. There is no banking down there.
Yeah,
and this is typically what you'll see at Loudon.
Yeah, Paul didn't give him a lot of room either, and that's
nice
somewhere you
move.
need it.
Nice move by Mark Martin to avoid this. Watch this from on board. Quick, let's go up high. And of course, Ambrose coming off his best finish on an oval just last week at Richmond, where he came home in 5th. He's going to have a lot of work cut out for him now. Some interesting strategies going on from 21st on back as we're here at the Sylvania 300. And make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. 21st on back from Kurt Busch, Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano, Mark Martin, Elliott Sadler, guys like that. They all pitted here, and our leaders stayed out. Bowyer, McMurray, Keselowski, Rudiman, and Edwards.
They're just setting themselves up for a later caution where they can stay out when these leaders pit. So not a bad move from those cars back in the pack.
Green flag flies again. Here we go.
Jamie McMurray just beat Clint Bowyer to the line right there, which you can't do. Bowyer was the leader of the race. We'll have to see about that.
Let's update you on one position or one person. Scott Speed has been treated and released from the medical center. And the battle for up front continues between McMurray and Bowyer. Checking also, remember last time we checked in on Kevin Harvick, you'll notice at the top of the screen, he's running right now in the 18th position. So he's picked up a few spots, courtesy of a lot of those guys that decided to pit.
Like Murray just overdrove turn 1 enough for Clint Bowyer to sneak underneath.
Whoa. You see Jimmy a little sideways on the exit of turn 2 there.
That's Allmendinger, Johnson, Biffle, Kyle Busch from 6th on back.
3 wide going into turn 3.
Leads on the right side, pretty much straight line, but Biffle's got his hands full trying to get underneath Kyle Busch. Whoa, looks awfully close there, almost slid up on him.
Yeah, and that's the trouble that you have trying to get down into these corners when you're trying to complete a pass. There's no banking down on that very bottom part of the asphalt. The car will get extremely loose. See Gordon and Harvick in this.
Gordon's on the apron.
Yeah, remember that these guys all have fresh tires. On the 31 of Burton, Gordon's got fresh tires. Logano, there they go around Harvick. He's in the middle of this meat sandwich. Kenseth right behind Harvick.
I think Harvick wasn't happy earlier. You can imagine right now as he's in the middle of a 3-wide situation in New Hampshire.
He's back to 21st, and here comes Tony Stewart. He gets around Greg Biffle.
Yeah, he's already in the top 10 now and going for 9th spot there.
In fact, that does give him the 9th position, Andy. And over on the left side, we continue to watch. Whoa, look out. Kenseth, Logano, and Reagan almost got together. Harvick right now shown in 20th position. There he is in the 29. A little bit further up, you see Jeff Gordon and Denny Hamlin, along with Jeff Burton. Gordon's making a run on the high side, going down into 3. Side by side, neither one wants to give.
Fun thing about this racetrack is you can run side by side and really not give up a whole lot of time to others that you're racing, but you can see that Sam Hornish and Kevin Harvick have called him. Now that Jeff Gordon has gone around, I think Denny Hamlin's struggling with his car a little bit right now. It looked like in practice yesterday that maybe they'd worked some things out and we'd see him going forward, but that's not the case right now.
On board with Harvick. Now we look from high above, and you get an idea as Kenseth is trying to get underneath him on the apron, sliding up.
Going to be a little contact. They know how to work it out, though. We saw Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch do that in the trucks yesterday, just lap after lap.
Right now with Kevin Harvick running in 20th. In front of him is the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Doc, what's the latest?
Well, we heard DJ say that Denny Hamlin is not making the progress he wanted to make, and that's exactly right. He just told Mike Ford a moment ago, Mike, it's taking so long for this right rear tire to come in spite of the track bar change, the car is still very, very loose off. Just can't really get in the throttle under power coming off the corner.
As you finish up on the right side of your screen, you see Kurt Busch, Greg Biffle, Jeff Burton, all of them going for the same spot.
Yeah, Kurt Busch, one of those drivers that came in under that last caution, got right side tires. Looks like it's working pretty well for him so far. Jeff Burton, another one of those.
On board with Biffle. I don't think there was a happier guy to get out of Richmond than Biffle last week. Yeah, he was really looking forward to getting over here.
Yeah,
there
I
goes
talked to the crew earlier. Man, they had a bad night in Richmond.
Jeff Gordon, let's catch up on him. He has gotten around Martin Truex for 16th on the track. And he is, to give you an idea, 8 seconds now behind the race lead, and there is what it looks like from one side of the track to the other. Here at the Sylvania 300 in New Hampshire, after 52 laps, Clint Bowyer has led 22 of them.
ESPN's live coverage of the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup today from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, where Clint Bowyer is the early leader, and from the pit studio, Alan Bestwick with Rusty Wallace, Brad Daugherty, and Ray Evernham. Watching a few different things. We talked about some keys to the race being patience for a driver, strategy for the teams, and how let them race would figure in. We've kind of seen all three in the early going.
Yeah, we really have. I mean, one guy I'm really focusing on right now, Alan, for patience is Kevin Harvick. His car hasn't been handling very well. He's already way back in 20th position right now. So having some patience, Kevin Harvick is really going to have to exercise that if he's going to be successful here today at New Hampshire.
And I agree on the pit strategy thing. We saw guys pit at 25 laps and just take right side tires. Tony Stewart went from first place to 18th place. He's worked his way back up to 9th right now, but he's using his car up doing it, guys.
Yeah, guys have at it. What about Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin on the opening laps of this race, getting after one another? Seen a lot of guys using that bumper to get to the fender to create space, create positions. Aggressive race thus far.
Jimmy Johnson marching his way forward in this field. Denny Hamlin not as far forward. Hamlin running in 19th position now. A couple of quick cautions, nothing involving chasers. But boy, we've seen the field shuffled up by strategy in the opening laps as we go back upstairs to Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie.
Thank you, Alan. All of the chasers are in the top 21, but only 2 are in the top 6. In fact, if you take a look right there, there's Jamie McMurray with Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski at 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We talked about how these other 31 guys are going to play a role in this championship.
Yeah, I'm just watching that 12 car's running really, really good. I mean, a lot better than he's run most of the year. See Carl Edwards getting around him, and he's on the move.
Well, we've got quite a few of them. A.J. Allmendinger is having a good day. You see him right back there. Just a lot of drives that are running extremely well, and each one of those positions represents taking points away from those guys in the chase.
Well, Brad may be, leading the championship over on the nationwide side. His best 2010 results in Cup are 2 12th place runs at Martinsville and Darlington. So he would love to be right where he's at right now. Drop back a little bit further. We check in on David Rudiman, another of the non-chasers, but here comes Jimmy Johnson. Johnson gets around him for that 6th spot.
And Jimmy Johnson still on those original left side tires. We saw him make contact with Denny Hamlin. Kind of see where he rubbed the lettering off the left sides, but looks like his car's working really well. He only changed those 2 right side tires. The car's still going forward. What else are they doing down there, Doc?
Well, the chase is officially on, Andy, so welcome back, Superman. I mean, Jimmy Johnson. He's making a move in a hurry toward the front. What he says a moment ago is the reason this progress has stalled a little bit is because he said, I cannot get full throttle from the middle of the corner off. I got to feather the throttle. He said the car will not roll completely in the center. Still a little snug and a little bit loose off, so he has to wait to pick up the throttle, and that's why his progress toward the front has stalled, at least momentarily.
Well, one thing that's happened is the sun has come out and the track is getting heated a lot more than it was to start the race, so some of these cars are probably changing some.
And as we watch Carl Edwards get around Jamie McMurray, remember this, Carl has scored the most points in the last 10 races. He's had 8 top 10s, average finish of 7.5, but no wins. But I remember you talking Friday about you've got to average about 8.0 if you want to win this championship.
Yeah, that was just my idea of it, and Carl Edwards is one of those that can definitely do that. They've kind of been off at the beginning of the year. We were really questioning where the Roush Fenway group could even be in the chase, and they've kind of righted the ship, and Carl Edwards has his car up to second. He hasn't won here at New Hampshire, but you certainly wouldn't notice it by watching him drive today.
You saw the gap between first place Bowyer to Edwards. It's now 3.5 seconds. Let's get the latest from pit road. Jamie Little.
Well, you guys talk about the numbers here for Carl Edwards. He's finished 12th or worse 7 of the last 8 races. Yesterday after happy hour, he said, I'm going to stay in the garage and work on a plan to make this car better. Well, Bob Osborne, his crew chief, went to work this morning, said he needs to set this car up to be better on longer runs. And guys, so far today, it's working.
Thank you, Jamie. As you can see, he has pulled away from Jamie McMurray, but there is the gap off in the distance. 3.5 seconds is Clint Bowyer. Jimmy Johnson right now in the 6th position, and I know some people love to see this. Others say wait till the end of the race, but it just gives you something to think about as Jimmy says, hey guys, don't count me out of this championship. Now, who does he think his biggest threat is to stop the drive for 5?
Me. I am the biggest threat to win the championship, and I'm going down fighting, thinking that all the way through. You know, the chase is a weird deal. I mean, it's difficult 10 races. The pressure put on all the teams is more than anyone can describe, and we all react differently to it. And over the last 4 years, you know, obviously we've done the best job of that. I know we can do it. I know our team is capable of it.
Well, his last win was June, just 10 races ago here, and that's the confidence factor that winning championships brings, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, you have to have that. You have to believe in your abilities, and you have to believe in your team, and Jimmy Johnson has both of those.
Yeah, if you watch Countdown, you saw that intangible line that we put in our picks, and that's why I put Jimmy at 10, because that's one of those intangibles, that confidence factor.
Let's talk a little bit about Dale Earnhardt Jr. because Jr. is moving up, folks. If you are a member of Junior Nation, he's into the top 10, and here's how he did it, getting around Kyle Busch.
Once he gets a nice little run here, you have to be careful not to slide up off of these corners. There's not much banking, but it really flattens out when you get to the straightaway. See how he completes this pass.
Wow, drives her hard in the corner.
His winless streak at 83, and boy, would this be a shot in an arm for his team to have a great run today. He is so far the biggest mover, up 23 spots, up to the 9th position in the top 10. Let's check in with Clint Bowyer as he's got 2 lap vehicles in front of him. He gets around Andy Lally and also the 34 of Tony Raines, so he's safely through. After 70 of the 300 laps, Clint Bowyer now has led 40 of them, with Tony Stewart right behind at 24 laps led here at New Hampshire.
Clint Bowyer continues to lead the Sylvania 300 Race 1 in the chase for the Sprint Cup from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, a quarter of the way through today's race. Bowyer's advantage is a whopping 4 seconds on second place, Carl Edwards. Jimmy Johnson has been one of the stories of this race as well. Johnson started back in 25th position, charged his way forward, a little strategy, a little aggressive driving, and a pretty good race car. And Jimmy is up into the number 6 position at a quarter distance through this race. Jimmy, we focus on in our Gillette Pro Glide profile. The first 5 races of the 10 that make up the championship compared to the last 5, I guess you'd say, summing up in Jimmy's previous championship seasons, he's been a good closer. 4 wins in the first 5 chase races compared to 8 in the last 5. Johnson on the march today here in New Hampshire. So at quarter distance, let's take you up to speed and find out what's going on with some of the front runners. How about the leader, Vince?
Well, it's been a pretty good day for Clint Bowyer so far, and they were optimistic coming into this track, although their average finish here is just about 18th, which is the worst of all chasers. They said they've had much better cars. They just really haven't gotten the results to go with those good fast race cars. Well, they're certainly off on a good start today. Very few complaints from Clint Bowyer, although he says he has to be a little ginger when he gets back on the throttle. It's a little free. Jamie?
And behind him, Carl Edwards sounding very optimistic on the radio. He says the car is very neutral now. It's very good. However, he is keeping an eye on the water temperature. It's up to about 210 right now and says it sprays a little bit as he gets in the corner. We'll keep our eye on that, Vince.
Running in third is Jamie McMurray. They raced the same car here in the spring, and it wasn't very good. In fact, it hasn't been very good just about anywhere they've run it until this weekend, according to crew chief Moto Mannion. But they hit upon something with their setup here, and the car has been among the top 5 fastest all weekend long. Jamie says the drive off is good, but the car goes away from him a little bit on the long run. Jamie?
You see A.J. Allmendinger just get around him there in the 43, picking up where he left off last week. Very impressive run. He finished 8th at Richmond. This team and A.J. are gaining a lot of confidence together in their ability. This is the first time, whoa, and he almost gets the wall there. First time in this race car, just lacking a little grip as you saw him get it loose there, Doc.
And now up to 5th position is Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy Johnson and crew chief Chad Knaus both know that the last 5 Cup winners at this racetrack did not leave their first lap until after lap 100, including Jimmy Johnson back here in June. So right now the word from Chad Knaus to Jimmy is patience. Jamie.
And Brett Keselowski, who was your pole sitter, is slowly slipping back, but doing a great job of keeping it in the top 5. He said the pole was the spark this team needed. Now their goal is just to run in the top 10 the entire race and prove they are capable of being a front runner. Dave?
You know, this weekend must look a lot similar to Dale Earnhardt Jr. as June. He started 31st, raced his way all the way up into the top 10. Well, that's where he is now. In their first pit stop, they took 4 tires. Last time they stayed out, he restarted 16th and has driven his way all the way up to, I think it's 8 now, Vince.
Well, and Tony Stewart led 24 laps early in the race. Then they came in on their first stop and took 4 tires. Fell all the way back to 18th. Stewart has used that fresh rubber to work his way back up into the top 10. This team has 11 top 10 finishes in the last 15 races. They've gained 8 positions in the point standings. One of the main reasons people believe this is the team to beat in the chase. The 14, Tony Stewart. Dave?
David Ruderman has lost a couple positions lately on this run because the car has been loose off. But their weekend is he's now going to get another position taken by Kurt Busch. Ruderman started 7th after having a great run in qualifying. They just have stayed up near that. They took 2 on their first stop and stayed out on the last stop. Jamie?
And Kurt Busch and his 2 team very disappointed after last week's finish. But the good news is they brought a new race car here, as you see him mired in traffic right there. But Kurt Busch brought this brand new car, 1 of 6 they will bring to the chase races. He said that last stop, the adjustments helped. He just needs rear grip. Dave?
Jamie, how about Jeff Burton in the chase? And on that last pit stop, they came down for 2 tires. Crew chief Todd Bowyer called down. He said, you know what? We're not going to make any changes and see where it goes. It's gone from 21st to 11th. Alan?
All right, as we watch this little 3-way fight here at the backside of the top 10, we'll just mention this. Ray Evernham, champion crew chief, said on NASCAR Countdown that the guys starting back in the pack among the chasers wanted to be in the top 5 with their cars in one piece. By the time we got to halfway, we're not even close to halfway yet. Jimmy Johnson's up in the top 5. Marty, DJ, and Andy.
Thank you, Alan. As you look also right behind this group, you notice Kyle Busch trying to get back in the mix as he is running in the 12th position. Update you on a few cars. Nemechek, Bliss, and Castle, McDowell, Speed are either off or out of the race. Let's get an update on Kevin Harvick because he's running in 17th, Dave.
And Marty, we talked to Kevin in Countdown today about his attitude going forward, and we've seen his leadership on this team. Remember Atlanta when he admitted that he made a mistake and kind of cost him a lot that day going for too much? So it's interesting to focus on that subject when you talk to Kevin. Well, they've had a struggle so far today, and here was his radio about 15 laps ago.
All right. Obviously, we've made 2 of the worst pit calls we can make today so far.
this run, it has been pushing and spinning the rear tires, as you heard him say. It's really hard to handle. He has sort of solidified his position, though. Isn't going back anymore, but he's not happy where he's sitting right now. We'll see if he can recover some of that attitude.
Well, another round of pit stops will be coming up in the not-too-distant future, so he'll get a chance to see what happens. David Reagan's going to go a lap down. That means we'll have 30 cars now on the lead lap, and Clint Bowyer has now led 58 laps.
Here at New Hampshire, pit stops upcoming. Pressure for the teams, especially at a track where track position and strategy are so crucial. Crew chiefs, what to do with that next strategy call when it has to be made shortly. We continue under green as we approach the lap 100 mark and the 1/3 point of this NASCAR Sprint Cup Series opening chase race for 2010. From the pit studio with Rusty Wallace, Brad Daugherty, Ray Evernham, and kind of chiming in with Andy Petrie, Dale Jarrett, Tim Brewer from the Craftsman Tech Garage as well to talk a little strategy. We've seen some strategy in this race today. Let's talk about, first of all, the race leader. Does he dictate what's going to happen here, Ray?
Well, he can. Some guys are going to try and short pit, but, you know, to me, the way to win this race, and we won it here before, by doing this, you take 4 tires under green, period. You know, and if you have less than 40 laps on your left side tires, you go ahead and you put 2 tires on. More than 40 laps, you put 4 tires on, period. That's the formula to win here.
What do you think, Andy?
Well, we see Montoya here taking tires. He's going to take 4 tires, and the reason they do that, Alan, is because it takes about that amount of time to put all the gas in it. And you see they've run a full load of fuel out. I think the only strategy in play right now is when to make that pit stop, like Ray said, see who's going to short pit. And maybe it is Bowyer who does start that, but it could be somebody else back in the pack that comes in early and gets everybody else coming in, just like Montoya did.
Tell you what, if the caution flag does come out and Bowyer's sitting out leading this race, it's been almost 100 laps right now on his left side tire, so whether he wants it or not under a caution, Ray, I'm thinking he's going to have to put 4 tires on this car, even if it's a caution flag coming out.
Yeah, here comes the 1 car. He's pitting also. But right, when you run out that much fuel, like Andy says, you automatically do 4. But I've also found that you lose less spots by doing 4 here under caution, or you know, by doing 4 under green than you do by doing 4 under caution.
Yeah, but Ray Brewer, if I'm sitting here watching my car right now, just like Kevin Harvick, if you fix the entry to the corner, meaning taking some wedge out, change that car around, you're going to fix the center of the corner. The car's going to have a better line off the corner. You're not going to be as loose off the corner.
All right, so the cycle has begun, Marty. Now the question is, when does Bowyer bring that 33 car with a big lead in?
And we'll wait to find out with you, Alan, and everybody else at home. Joey Logano is in. Also, here comes Brad Keselowski. The 14 of Tony Stewart is in. Vince.
The 14 of Tony Stewart really tight in the center. Needs more forward bite. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment with 4 tires for Tony Stewart. There's the 18 of Kyle Busch. Kyle says that they just haven't had the drive off that they need. The car feels like it's on top of the track. No forward bite. 4 tires and a chassis adjustment for the 18. Now the 33 of Clint Bowyer is in. They took 4 tires, made a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment, trying to get it to drive off the corner a little better. Doc?
Jimmy Johnson in, major chassis adjustment. Car still tight in the center, still free off. He cannot use the throttle. So they're going to go back to some air pressure changes early on. Behind him, the 11 car. Denny Hamlin in. Back to the normal air pressures. Half around the wedge in. Hamlin said, you have got to work on my forward bite. Jamie.
And Carl Edwards says he's just getting a little bit loose. That water temp is still at 210. Track bar adjustment up, air pressure adjustment. 4 tires, fill it up with Sunoco fuel. That's the call for Carl Edwards, who has a pretty good race car today.
They continue to work on the left side on Edwards. We can also tell you several other cars have made their stops. And most of them are now back out on the track. We're still under green. Our current leader, Kurt Busch, through the cycle, is now coming in, which means it'll give the lead over to Jeff Gordon. Jamie?
And Kurt Busch says, free me up. And the adjustments worked on the last round of pit stops. So they're going to do another round of the track bar up, air pressure adjustment in the left rear, and 4 tires were was the initial call. Let's take a look and see if that will remain the call. On the right side of the screen, you see the 12 go around the 24. Kurt Busch, yes, they do stick with the 4-tire call as they work around on the left side of the car, getting better for Kurt Busch. And there is Jeff Gordon, who came on down pit road. Now his car is loose in clean air. He said, guys, I just need a little bit of help. He's good actually in traffic, but the goal of this team was to keep him freed up enough so he didn't get tight at the end of the run, and that is what got him last time here in the spring. So far it's working. They're just talking to their driver saying, be patient. 4-tire stop here for Jeff Gordon. No ratchet in the back, no chassis adjustments. Fill it up with Sunoco fuel. One of the best pit crews on pit road, 14.9 seconds. Let's go over to Vince Welch.
Well, the 5-car of Mark Martin is, of course, been a huge disappointment not making the chase this season. Their major complaint, the car just hasn't been fast enough. They feel like it's had good balance, but they haven't had the speed. That's Mark's complaint again today. They went one round up on the track bar, trying to look for a little something extra for the 5.
And there's the race leader right now, Robbie Gordon, as he has not made his pit stop yet, as he is a couple of cars in front of Clint Bowyer, who is shown in second place.
Now first place.
And there will be the lead change. Of course, the 5 bonus points important for Robbie because he's 35th in the owner points right now.
Found it very interesting. 2 drivers that pitted under that last caution were the 2-car of Kurt Busch and the 31 of Jeff Burton. They had driven their way up into the top 10. They could have stayed out longer, but they chose to come on in. So that shows you how much tires are going to affect these cars.
Yeah, that's what we just heard Greg Irwin talk before the race about short pitting, and that's what it is. They didn't want to let these other cars get an advantage by getting fresh tires and getting back out there. Their tires had already worked to their advantage, so they decided to go ahead and kind of reset with the rest of the leader.
Well, Robbie Gordon was our 8th different leader. We've had 13 lead changes, and the man on the right, Clint Bowyer, has now led 69 laps. Prior to that, he led a total of 59 throughout Pocono in June. And last year, to give you an idea how bad the year was, all season long, he led only 41. So Bowyer on the move right now again. He's got a 5.9 second lead over second place, Carl Edwards, and that's about what he had when he came in. So he managed to maintain that margin.
Yeah, watch the gap on some of these cars. Jimmy Johnson came in with his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. Right together, but when they came back on the track, you see, now the 48's in 4th and the 88's in 14th. So I don't know what happened in the pits, but definitely Junior lost a ton of time somewhere.
Saw the numbers on Carl Edwards there. His lead over third place, Jimmy McMurray, is another 4 seconds here, the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Sylvania 300 is brought to you by the Ram 60-Day Handshake, a promise that's as strong and genuine as the trucks themselves. AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible. And Coca-Cola, open a Coke and enjoy the race.
Back here at a beautiful day in New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Clint Bowyer has a 4.3 second lead over Carl Edwards. McMurray, Johnson, and Stewart round out the top 5. Let's talk about the Fast 5.
Well, the Fast 5 is usually led by Matt Kenseth's team. They do a great job on pit road. Again, all these times are very close, 12.8 down to 13 seconds, but that's how you make up spots on green flag stops with these really quick 4-tire changes.
And let's talk about the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award, because we'll show you who's currently leading, and that's Jeff Gordon. You can help determine the standings. Vote from your AT&T phone by texting the car number to 2258 for the pit crew you think is the fastest and most valuable.
You're talking about that's how you pick up time, and as a leader of the race, that's how you keep that advantage that you'd gotten on the racetrack by your pit crew doing a great job like Clint Bowyer's did.
See Dale Earnhardt Jr. Back there in 11th position. He had worked his way up to 7th. I think we got the word from Dave Burns that he got blocked in pit road. Dave, give us the official update.
Yep, officially he did. It was Regan Smith right in front of him, and the crew had to push him back just a little bit before he put it in first gear and rolled that car off of pit road. Frustrating because on the pit stop, they didn't make any changes. He was pretty happy with the way it was handling.
Yeah, this is too bad right here because the junior had been coming like crazy, and he came in with Jimmy Johnson. Looks like he's got a clear way out. Oh, and here comes Regan Smith. Man, that is costly right there.
Well, you saw the 2 cars that went by in pit road. Just think of how many went by out on the track. So There you see Junior. Jeff Gordon has got around him. So Gordon is in 11th. Move Junior back to 12th. David Ruderman right in front of Jeff. Now, my question, and I asked it during the break, A.J. Allmendinger is now a lap down in 25th after being in the top 10. Jamie, what is going on?
Well, Marty, it is another heartbreaker on that last round of pit stops. Right when A.J. Allmendinger hit pit road, he completely ran out of fuel. So he coasted down to his pit box. They put 4 tires on it, and by the time he got back out, he went 1 lap down. So by my calculations, he went 72 laps. What do you guys think? Bad? Good?
Well, that's all they can go. I mean, that's a little short of what some teams say they can go, a few laps, but maybe they didn't get it full the time before. That was definitely a costly mistake, though.
One follow-up for that entire Richard Petty Motorsports team. New Hampshire Motor Speedway and the team donated 250 tickets to the employees back at the Hartford distributorship hit by that recent tragedy where a number of employees were killed. The haulers stopped by. They signed autographs. It was a big morale boost, and those 250 people are here today having a good time. And that's a great move on both those organizations' part. Back to the race, you see that Jeff Gordon, look out, David Ruderman, and they touch Junior. And he's got about 5 donuts on that side.
He took that spot on purpose right there now.
Kyle Busch is going to take a peek under Ruderman as well.
Yeah, it looks like Ruderman's really struggling with his car.
Heck, the way they
people
keep beating and banging on it.
You'd think this was lap 297.
Give me a break, guys.
Vince, what are you hearing down there?
Well, Kyle Busch, of course, so frustrating a year ago, missed the chase by 8 points. Some people feel like they're a favorite to win it this year. A lot of pressure being felt by that team, and crew chief Dave Rogers said a lot of it is self-imposed. They've got to keep everybody calm and cool. Listen to Kyle on the radio a moment ago about his car.
The right rear lateral grip, but dude, it doesn't matter. I'm pushing the nose off it. I'm shattering a right rear tire. I got nothing. Anytime I try to keep up with these guys, I bust all 4 tires loose. If I just slow down and don't go anywhere and just sit here and ride, I get beat by 2/10 a lap.
Kyle seems to be quite frustrated with the way the car is handling, particularly the chattering of the tires. And for more on that, let's check in with Tim Brewer in the Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim?
Thanks, Vince. He's in a bad situation, but still yet, well, like we were talking a while ago, when you go down that corner, you got a lot of steering input into it. The car doesn't turn. You get in the gas, it's loose off. What you need to do is adjust the weight balance in the car. But to get that right rear tire back in the racetrack, maybe you can take a little bit of air pressure out of this right rear tire and get it to hook up. That'll solve a lot of his problems through the center and off.
Well, Tim, as you finish up, well, we actually have a view of what's going on with Kyle's car from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s onboard camera. Here we go.
Well, let's watch Kyle Busch's car. You heard what he was talking about. He's chattering the right rear. Man, yeah, that could be considered loose right there.
That's so.
And Kyle, I felt like this was a very important race for Kyle Busch. This hasn't been one of his better racetracks. I think starting next week at Dover, yeah, he has a great chance of going there, but they need to have a solid top 15 here at the very worst.
Right side of your screen is Clint Bowyer, a 4.4-second lead. He's putting Sam Hornish a lap down. Hornish running in 22nd position. On the left side, you got Juan Pablo Montoya right there with the 18. Here comes Kevin Harvick under Juan. This could get interesting.
Well, we heard Harvick not happy with his car most of this race, and they made maybe a little mistake on their pit strategy, but he's starting to move his way forward steadily.
And that's what this team has done very well all year long, as we've watched them lead the points for the majority of the year, is work on this race car. And I think that we've seen Kevin make progress. Now he's getting himself in a position that they can make a difference. He's up into the top 15.
Harvick trying to take over that 14th spot from Montoya. They're side by side coming out of 2. In fact, whoa, almost touching.
Montoya didn't want to get boxed in right there.
Yeah, you've got the 38 of Travis Quapple, who is already a lap down, and everybody's trying to work their way underneath him. Montoya clears. Here comes Harvick as well. Now, if we go back just a little bit further, this gives you an idea why Harvick wants to get on his horse, because there is your race leader, as Clint Bowyer is really just knocking the numbers down. That is Joey Logano. He is 21st position, and he is the next victim to go one down here at the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire. ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball and the hunt for October continues on Sunday Night Baseball. Miguel Cabrera leads the Tigers against Manny Ramirez and the White Sox. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell, part of Lee Jeans. The hunt for October on ESPN and ESPN3.com, and that's all at 8 Eastern. Back here, we are working on lap number 129 of 300. Clint Bowyer is our race leader. He's led 94 laps. Points leader Jimmie Johnson right now is in 4th. That's right. Currently, right now, he would be the points leader based on where everybody's running. Highest running chaser, obviously, is Clint Bowyer. Came in seated 12th. Right now, he's running at the front of the field. And Matt Kenseth is 18th. And one of the other things we should point out is that 8 of the top 10 are now cars that are in the chase. Remember at the start of the race, it was 6 out of 10 that were non-chasers.
So the cream's rising. Yeah, and one of those guys that has worked his way into the top 10 now. There you see Jeff Burton going by. He's up definitely in the top 10, up in the 6th spot. But Denny Hamlin's found his way up there. He was hanging around back there in that 12th to 17th place. But he's really made a charge here, Doc.
He really has, DJ. And you know how Mike Ford does it. Mike is a realist. He takes his time. Mike worked with you many years when you were the Cup Series driver. They wanted to get a comfort zone for Denny Hamlin. Well, they have found that comfort zone now. It was just a half a round of wedge away and putting the air pressure back where they wanted to put it. And now they have told Denny Hamlin the last 7 laps in a row, he has been faster than the leader. He is the fastest car on the racetrack right now and on his way to the front.
And as you finish up, Doc, Kurt Busch is taking a peek underneath. Brad Keselowski. Keselowski gives way to his Penske Racing teammate, and they swap those spots. So move Kurt up to 7th. You know, we mentioned the fact teammates and how sometimes they can play a role. Kurt Busch talked about it.
We started it last week at Richmond with Sam Hornish Jr. running my setup, and they stayed with it all through practice, even in the race. And we learned from some setup notes what they found and what they discovered. And it's like 2 notebooks working as one.
Of course, he is the lone Dodge representative in the chase and the lone member of Team Penske in the chase. So he's getting ready to go around Reed Sorensen. Let's update you also on the 82. Scott Speed is back in the car. He is back out on track, 85 laps down. We have a total of 6 other cars out of the race officially. Mears, Bobby Labonte, Nemechek, Bliss, Castle, and McDowell.
Okay, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s got something today working for him. This car is really going. They did have a little problem in the pits when they got blocked in. But, man, he has made up some spots since then, and he's rolling to the front.
3 Hendrick Motorsports cars in the top 11. You're looking at 10th and 11th place on your screen. Jimmie Johnson running in the 4th position. Mark Martin back in 24th. More from Jamie on the 88.
And Jeff Gordon has been saying how loose he is all day. They took a spring rubber out of the right rear to try to help that situation. But after that pit stop, he said, I am so loose, I can't even get on the gas. So watch for the 88, his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. to take advantage of a very loose 24 car. Dave?
And Jamie, that 88 car is pretty much on target with what Lance McGrew told me this morning. He said we've never had any of that tight center all weekend long, and we needed just a little bit of drive off throughout practice. He said they didn't make any changes to the race car to start today off, and other than the problems they've had on pit road twice now, different situations, the car has been fast.
Talk about that Jeff Gordon situation. Sometimes you take a rubber out of there to actually make you looser. The car will roll over a little bit more and give you that feel. And sometimes that seems like the right thing to do, but it doesn't always work.
Let's go to the battle for the lucky dog position because A.J. Allmendinger, he's had a good race car. He and Joey Logano, they are the first 2 cars a lap down in 21st and 22nd. And this could be huge, especially because Allmendinger does have a good race car today.
He was in the top 5 earlier. And that one little miscue of running out of fuel before that green flag stopped put him way back a lap down. But he's fighting back hard.
And I can see Logano's not giving many people very much room. You can see he held up Clint Bowyer a little while ago. His car, he's running down on the bottom. That could get him a little nudge here.
There's Carl Edwards, 2nd place, going underneath Sam Hornish. Right behind Carl is the 5 of Mark Martin. Mark in 24th position. So all those guys are running for position, 1 lap down. And obviously, they want to be that first car in that lucky dog spot. And right now, it is still the 20 of Logano.
I think Logano's put himself in a couple spots right here. I mean, he kind of really cut Allmendinger off getting into turn 3. Allmendinger gave him a break.
So are you saying he's about to get turned?
Yeah, he might. He's not careful.
Got traffic in front of him now. Let's go on board with Carl Edwards.
And Carl just assumed they work this out after he gets by them. They may not, though.
71 of Andy Lally as they both clear him. The next target is the 36 of Dave Blaney.
And I know Joey Logano's trying to protect that lucky dog spot right now because anything can happen. And he can get back on the lead lap, but you don't want to wind up with a race car torn up.
Just to update you, Lally, as you saw him there in the 71, he is 3 laps down, running in 35th position. And as we go to the split screen on the left side, let's pick up Ryan Newman, who won the modified race yesterday, going past the 16 of Greg Biffle. And that is for 16th. A.J. Allmendinger on the right. Let's listen in on the radio, see what he's saying about this battle.
Damn it, Mike, this sucks having to race the car for a lucky dog. I understand, buddy. You're doing a great job.
You can just sense that frustration right there.
Well, he's got a fender underneath him right now. Can't get enough oomph off the corner. And Carl Edwards just stays right there. There's your top 5 here at the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire. Clint Bowyer hasn't won since Richmond of May of 2008.
Almost halfway through the Sylvania 300, the opening race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, and the caution flag is just waved for the 3rd time in this race. NASCAR was looking at some debris on the racetrack for a couple laps. They have decided it's worth a yellow flag and has put the caution out for the 3rd time. We'll see some pit stops in a minute from the pit studio. Let's get caught up on what's happened so far in the Dodge race rundown with Rusty, Brad, and Ray. Some pretty hairy stuff among some chasers in the opening laps.
Oh, you see Jimmy Johnson 3 wide going on the turn 1 right there. Had Denny Hamlin underneath him. Actually got Denny a little upset. They got fender banging a little bit. See that right there? But pretty aggressive move first early part of the race here.
But those guys made it through the traffic okay. Pit strategy we've seen play today, right?
Yeah, well, Clint Bowyer and his group were right on it. We saw him come in early, get those 2 tires, and get that car out in front in clean air. Kept it out there and led a lot of laps.
Bowyer has led the most laps today. 111 of the 146 that have been run so far. Dale Earnhardt Jr., another guy we've had an eye on today, Brad.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been on the move since the drop of the green flag, up 21 positions, doing a really good job. Looks like he has a really good, well-balanced race car. He's passing a lot of people. Looks like he's maintained position. Could get a great finish today for old Junebug.
Got blocked in on pit road, but has picked his way back up to the 11th spot. That cost you some time. But again, solid day for Junior. Right now, of the top 10 on the racetrack, 8 of them are drivers in the championship chase. Not really any of the chasers overwhelmingly struggling. The farthest back is Matt Kenseth in 18th position. So no troubles involving the chasers of major proportion so far through the first half of the race. And now, more strategy and more pit stops for some of the teams. It'll be Clint Bowyer, Carl Edwards, Jamie McMurray, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Burton, the top 5 coming in as the crews get ready to go to work at a racetrack where track position is so critical. Who makes the mistake? Who gets it done, David?
10th seed coming in was Jeff Burton. He was 60 points behind when the day started. Currently running 5th right now in the 31 car. That run, he said, pretty good. And so they're not going to make any adjustments to the 31. Just 4 tires and fuel. Vince?
The 33 of Clint Bowyer has been the dominant car so far today, but he's a little too free in and off. So they're going to go back to their original air pressure adjustment, make a track bar and wedge adjustment as well, Doc.
Middle of your screen, Jimmy Johnson, free in, free off, tight in the center, another chassis adjustment, air pressure, trying to get it to roll in the corner. Jamie.
Carl Edwards needs more grip and air pressure adjustment. He's thirsty. He needs a drink. 4 tires for the 99. He came in second. Let's see how he ends up on pit road. You see the 29 there is the first car off. Guys.
No contest for the race off pit road for the lead. A little bit of shuffling farther back.
Yeah, good job out of Clint Bowyer, though. A 12.9-second pit stop, 4 tires. That pit crew's doing everything right for Bowyer today. He's doing exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, everyone seems to have held position or at least gained a little bit. So I think it's all equal. We're going to have a good restart here, and all the chasers are up front.
Carl Edwards losing a couple spots there, so Bowyer hanging on to the top spot. He won the chase opener in 2007 by 6.5 seconds. He just lost a 6.5-second lead to that yellow.
Clint Bowyer's your race leader once again. Jamie McMurray on the outside of row number 1. The free pass went to A.J. Allmendinger. He's back on the lead lap after that tussle with Joey Logano. 3 cars took the wave around. We're back to green flag racing. The wave around for Kloppel. And look out, here we go. I'll get to the wave arounds later because they're going for it.
Jimmy Johnson looked like he might want to think about making it 3 wide again. Thought better of that right then. He's in a battle for that 3rd spot. Carl Edwards.
Bowyer's car is just so strong, off the corner especially.
This is the 2nd time in his career that he's led over 100 laps in a race. Guess what happened the last time? He won the race, and it was right here. Let's go on board with Carl Edwards. He's got Jeff Burton all over him.
Yeah, that's Jeff Burton. That 31's a strong race car, Andy. They told you they were going to be good.
They told me coming into the weekend they were going to be really strong. They weren't that great in practice, but they've made some good adjustments today, and now Jimmy Johnson's having to race Jeff Burton, which he hadn't had to race Burton all day.
3 wide coming here. Here comes Brad Keselowski to the inside.
We know he's not going to live.
Jimmy Johnson's found himself in this position quite a few times today.
And look behind him, you got Kurt Busch. You also got the 14 of Stewart. There's the 11 of Hamlin. The
Johnson
18,
loose.
Look out! Oh, contact between the Busch brothers. And here comes Biffle diving on. He goes in front of the 88 of Earnhardt Jr. Other than that, it was a calm corner. The wave arounds were the 38, the 34, and the 7. We got that up for you finally. Bad news, though, if you're a Kevin Harvick fan. He lost another 5 spots on this pit stop. There you see him back there. He went in 13th, came back out 18th, and he's in that mess right there.
Yeah, he's trying to make up a lot of them right now as he's down in turn 3, but he's right behind Greg Biffle, who looks like he's really struggling with his car.
Casey Kane right there as well as all this battle is going on. Back in the field, Earnhardt 15th, Kane 16th, Biffle 17th, Harvick 18th, as they're all mixing it up for those positions.
See Matt Kenseth right there in that battle too. He started way back. He's made up a lot of spots today. 14. Still has some more though.
Finally seems to have calmed down a little bit. Everybody sort of gets into single file. The view from Biffle's view is out the back. He's trying to close on the 29. He's going to make a run on him going down into turn number 1. Biffle makes it look easy. And he clears him. Whoa, and Kenseth got loose.
Yeah, you can see. You hit those seams down in there. Here comes Jimmy Johnson trying to make up some of those spots. He was a big loser on that restart. Going from 3rd back to 8th. Now trying to get back to 7th.
He's going to be a meat in a Dodge sandwich if Kurt Busch and Brad Keselowski have any say about it. But he says, no, guys, I think I'll check on out.
Comes Kyle Busch. He's worked himself up into the top 10 now.
Kyle underneath Brad Keselowski. Of course, they've had their moments. Doesn't seem like there's going to be any problems here, however. They're side by side coming down the back straightaway. Ryan Newman right behind him and Dale Jr. They got the National Guard and the Army trying to track down those poor little M&Ms.
So Kyle is able to make that pass. Here comes Gordon. This car just hasn't been to his liking, but they've made a lot of adjustments on it so far.
Gordon, the National Guard emblem right there as he goes underneath the 12. And if I said Junior earlier, I meant to say Gordon. He's carrying the National Guard colors as well. Let's correct that while we're looking at it. And a little bit further back, you can see Harvick was in your screen. And
Harvick finding himself back there, still battling back in the pack after those pit stops. Clint Bowyer's team, man, they did a great job of getting him on and off pit road, 12.7. But you see that 16.6? That's going to lose you spots every single time on pit road. Break it down even farther here, you can see where the time was gained and lost. I mean, look at Clint Bowyer, man. 5.7 on the right, 4 on the jack, 3 on the left side. That's an incredibly fast left side stop. And then you see Harvick losing most of his time on the left side.
Yeah, we talked about him being loose. You wonder if they put a rubber in that left rear or something.
2 weeks in a row, Matt and Hannah together. You got about 5 spots that we just worked all day to try to get by. Now we got to do it again. We can't even run in the top 15 if we have pit stops like that. We come in behind the 18, 7 spots in front of us. A pretty terrible day, to be honest with you. We've had 2 big calls that were the wrong way. Bad pit stop. Sucked all the weekend.
Matt Clark, good energy. What's going on?
Yeah, that last voice you heard was Richard Childress kind of get involved a little bit. I mean, they really are struggling today, but they just have to get that out of their minds here and start working on the rest of the race. And got to kind of quit focusing on the bad things they've done.
Yeah, if I'd have heard that radio, I wouldn't have mentioned anything about a rubber in the left rear, because that obviously didn't have anything to do with that.
Well, and you heard Richard mention Matt Clark. He is the pit crew coach for that team. So obviously they're going to try and see what is going on. Let's get more on the 29, Dave.
So far down here, Marty, no changes on the pit crew. Have not seen anyone new on the front or the back changing tires or anything like that. Also, he commented too far on that last change. It's sideways now.
So they still have issues to try and correct. You see he's got Dale Earnhardt Jr. right in front of him as they work their way through traffic. There is the 33 of Clint Bowyer. We talked about mental toughness at the beginning of the day, Ray Abraham.
Yeah, it's important that the guys stay together. You know, as a crew chief down there, you know that he's made some calls in the pits that they're probably not happy with. They've had a bad pit stop, but there's still plenty of time in this race left to go. And this is where Kevin needs to get in and start to give them better information. They know they've messed up. He's got to try and give them information that will help them, how they can make that car better. Is there anything I can do to help position the car better on a pit stop? Bring those guys up, not down. This is just the first round of a championship fight, and they still have a lot of time to get a really good finish.
Great point, Ray. Did you see the granite stripe right there? That's a new feature here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 2 feet of solid granite from the Granite State. As the action continues here at the Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire with Clint Bowyer still leading. Let's set the stage for you tonight because the O'Reilly Auto Parts NHRA Nationals 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. And then next Saturday, the Nationwide Series at Dover, presented by CC's Pizza, will be on the air on ESPN2 at Saturday, 3 Eastern. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series from Dover, presented by Burger King, will be next Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. And NASCAR Now, tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. There is Clint Bowyer, your race leader. He has now led 133 of our 169 completed laps. Behind him is Jamie McMurray, the only non-chaser in the top 10. It's Edwards, Burton, Stewart, Denny Hamlin, Johnson, Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch. That rounds out your top 10. Now, Kevin Harvick has worked his way up to the 16th position, but it has been a battle. Take a look at what happened right as we went to break.
See Harvick trying to get around David Rudiman. That's one way of doing it. Put that bumper into his left rear quarter panel.
Yeah, David Rudiman didn't like it too much, though.
Another view from the onboard. And then David's reaction going down the backstretch was...
Hey, dude.
And he kept it there for quite a while.
Yeah, Rudiman wasn't waving back there to the 16 who you can see waving. That was to Harvick. But, yeah, that's part of this type of racing right here. You don't like it if you're the guy getting bumped, but sometimes your driver trying to go forward, the guy's not giving you enough room, you got to use that bumper.
Well, as our early leader, the 14 of Tony Stewart, there he is, as he's got Denny Hamlin in tow and Stewart in the 5th spot, Hamlin in 6th. And all the guys that we were talking about, as we mentioned, 9 out of the top 10 are chase contenders.
Tony Stewart led the early part of the race, and then they made a 4-tire change under that early caution, and a lot of cars just took 2 and put them way back in the pack. Now they fought their way back up.
Let's check in on 2 of the non-chasers. The Casey Kane number 9, Brad Keselowski, our pole sitter, in the number 12. They are running 13th and 14th, and it's been a bit of a struggle. In 7 laps, the 12 car dropped 7 spots, so obviously the handling has gone away from the Dodge of Brad Keselowski. Let's get an update on the 12, Jamie Little.
Well, actually, Marty, just as you were talking about him, Brad Keselowski came on the radio and said, guys, it feels good every lap. That's why I don't know what to tell you. So his team's telling him to keep digging. They can't hit their finger on what's wrong with the 12 car right now.
And on the right side of your screen, as you finish up, Jamie, Juan Pablo Montoya and Ryan Newman, they're in a battle for the 11th position.
Montoya's had a pretty good race car. We saw him early on up in the 2nd spot and running in the top 5. It looked like maybe they got a set of tires that just didn't work with their car. They fell back pretty far, but you can see now he's starting to move forward again as he tries to close in on Kyle Busch for the 10th spot.
Looks like Kyle still doesn't have his car going the direction he's wanting to go. Might be a little bit better this run, but still not great.
Notice that Tony Stewart has gotten around Jeff Burton. Let's take you back to this, and it looks like all that craziness we saw at the beginning of the race has calmed down a little bit.
Well, watch here. Jeff Burton pulls over and lets Tony Stewart go. Jeff's not too happy, I think, with his car. The set of tires just isn't working for him right now, and that's how Jeff Burton races. He commands the same respect if you're racing him that way. So later on, Dave?
You know, Jeff Burton complains a lot, in order to get his car better, about losing rear grip. Well, he hadn't done it at all today until the start of this run, and that has been the complaint. I've lost the rear grip I had earlier.
So the update there, and thank you, Dave. And on the right side of your screen, you've got Kyle Busch and Juan Pablo Montoya. Montoya is going to turn 35 tomorrow. And of course, Jimmy Johnson celebrated his 35th birthday on Friday. And Montoya is going to say, I want a piece of the cake right now. Kyle, please let me by.
Yeah, I'm not sure. If I was Kyle, I wouldn't contest this spot too much. I mean, we saw just how Jeff Burton gave that spot to Tony Stewart. That's a smart way to race when somebody has run you down. And like you say, Dale, you'll expect that favor later in the race when maybe it can count even more.
See, Kyle does give
that. That was smart.
Vince, you've got more on Juan Pablo?
Well, it's been a good stretch for Montoya. 5 straight top 10s. That's the longest streak of his career. It's just been heartbreaking for this team. They've had so many DNFs leading up to this point in the season, whereas last year they did not. And that's been the difference between making the chase and not making the chase. Montoya's been pretty pleased with his car, but this team at the end of the season, you know, they're going to be thinking about what could have been instead of what was.
And of course, the high point was the win back at Watkins Glen as he pulls away from the 18 and the 39. But Newman, all of a sudden, putting a little pressure on Kyle Busch. On board with Kyle. Here he comes up underneath.
Whoa, you hear that right there? That's loose. Those rear tires breaking loose on the straightaway.
And it gives Newman a full quarter panel. Can he get it all the way through? Here he comes. And I think Kyle said, yep, I just don't have enough to continue that battle either.
Yeah, he just lit him up off of turn 4, so he didn't want to try to do that again.
How about Jamie McMurray, our lone non-chaser, other than Montoya now? Montoya's just gotten into the top 10. But McMurray running in second, 2 seconds behind our race leader Bowyer, and he's got that much distance between third place, Carl Edwards.
What we've seen is the 99 have the second best car on the longer runs up to the 33, but this one car has been extremely fast.
Vince, you've got more?
He said the one issue that they've had, McMurray, we're speaking of, as you saw, he got a big-time wiggle there coming off that turn. Said he just doesn't feel like he can push down the gas the way he wants to, and I think probably just saw why there as the back end came out from underneath him. Well, we talked about in the Open how they've won the big races. They won the Daytona 500. They won the Brickyard 400. Another team that felt like they were Chase caliber, and Bono Mannion said, we had 3 goals. We wanted to win races, we wanted to make the chase, and we wanted to compete for the championship. So the fact that they didn't make the chase was a big blow to this team, but there's no doubt about between the one car and his teammate, the 42, they got a couple of teams here we're going to be keeping our eye on in future years.
Well, and I think this is one of those cars we're going to have to keep an eye on looking forward to next year, because if they can build on that, this could be a real contender next year. He's had 12 prior starts here at New Hampshire. He had several top 10s, 3 of them in the first 4 races, but the last 2, he's finished in 18th. Right now, the guy that everybody's chasing is that man. Clint Bowyer just made it in as the final qualifier for the chase, and right now he's leading the race.
Been a number 1 kind of day for Clint Bowyer. His pit crew has been sharp on the pit lane. That 33 car sure has been sharp on this mile New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Bowyer dominating the race so far. Started the chase for the Sprint Cup as the 12 seed, but he is leading the opening race of the championship. Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. Right now, Denny Hamlin maintaining top spot in the championship. Of course, he was the number 1 seed coming in. And as far as speed is concerned, you see Jimmy Johnson just a touch behind him. And Bowyer climbing up to the number 3 spot in the rankings at this point. How about a top speed of 160 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway on this mile track for that 33 car today? For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Coming up on the 2/3 mark of today's race, 190 down, 110 laps to go. Check on a couple of the guys in the field with a brief up to speed. How about third place Carl Edwards, Jamie?
Well, he's been the most consistent car the last 10 weeks, and that is what they want to continue here. The car has been good. Their goal, they told me, was a top 5. Not necessarily to win. They just want to stay there in the hunt. Carl's saying the car is good. However, the water temp has climbed up to 230. Vince?
Well, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a team more confident coming into this race than the 18 of Kyle Busch. He carried in 3 straight top 5 finishes. Crew chief Dave Rogers said momentum equals confidence, and they had plenty of it. Said Kyle was as relaxed and as confident as he has ever seen him. And then the race started. That hasn't been the case. They were very happy with the balance of their car in the final practice, but today Kyle has really struggled, and he says the car just will not go. Doc?
Greg Biffle is running a disappointed 20th. But before the race, when I asked crew chief Greg Irwin to handicap the chase for his team, he said, Doc, we should struggle at Martinsville and Phoenix. We think we can win at Dover, Kansas, Texas, Homestead, and California. Now, the ones that go either way for us are Charlotte, Talladega, and here today at Loudon. At those 3 tracks, it is feast or famine. Right now, it is famine for Greg Biffle. The car, very, very tight. Dave.
Matt Kenseth has run as high as 16th, as low as 33rd today. He restarted 15th on that last run, but it's gone backwards. He'll tell you why.
I don't know what you guys did, Jimmy, unless it's just a bad set of tires, but it is just absolutely freaking horrible. It drilled this in on the brakes. I swear it's tighter in the middle than what it was. I even got the front tires chattering and everything, and it's no freaking rear grip on exit. Pushes for a car length and then just almost wrecked. Okay, we'll put everything back.
The insult to his injury, AB, brakes not working well either.
All right, thanks, Dave, and reporters for that brief update. Rusty's watching the left rear tire on that 17
I
car.
think Matt Kenseth's got a flat left rear tire in that car. It's going down. He's complained about loose up off the corner. I think it could be part of the problem right there.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, it could well be. You hear a lot of guys talking about rear grip. That left rear flat tires definitely could take rear grip away from that car. But we've been hearing, guys, as the race went on, we thought the race was going to tighten up as the rubber got down. The clouds have been in and out. A lot of guys are complaining about rear grip, and it looks like the way the pit stops are going to be timed, it looks like most of the guys can go on one more pit stop. So, Tim Brewer, what do you think these guys are going to adjust to try and put more rear grip in those cars?
Tell you what, Ray, for me, I'm going to take some wedge out, put a little front brake in the car to tighten it up getting in. But right here, I'm going to the basement right here. You're going to run this track bar down. When you run that track bar down, you're going to lower the rear roll center of the car. And what you're trying to do is get a lot of grip to get these rear tires off that corner, because turning, that's great in the center, but you got to have grip to get off these corners here in New Hampshire.
All right, Tim, and one other thing to watch for as we look ahead into the final third of this race. We have our eyes on Kevin Harvick in that 29 car. Why? Because there's a pattern here.
There is a pattern here. He was our points leader going in the chase race, no doubt about that. But one thing we've always seen out of Kevin Harvick, when it's crunch time and when it's about the end of the day, if he's had a bad day, he's always up in the top 10. He always seems to be able to rebound, and right now he's voiced his frustrations to his crew. He's made it clear that he's not happy with it. The team's working to make things better, and now he's crawling back up to the front. He's in the 15th position right now, and he's got pretty good speed.
We're getting ready to drop below that 100 lap to go mark, which is crucial. Short period of time, so everyone's starting to think about their next pit stop and what they're going to do to advance their race car, pick up positions on pit road. We need flawless stops. Got to take some chances. Got to get that track position.
20 to 25 laps away from pit stops if we stay green. Maybe sooner if people short pit like they did earlier in the race. We'll keep an eye on it. 102 to go in New Hampshire. Bowyer leads.
This week on Monday Night Football, Drew Brees and the defending Super Bowl champ Saints take on Frank Gore and the 49ers. It's Monday Night Football on ESPN Monday at 8:30 Eastern. And coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown. It's served up by Applebee's. Back here, we are past the 2/3 mark. 96 laps to go at New Hampshire Motor Speedway as you ride on board with Tony Stewart as he goes around slower traffic. Our race leader is Clint Bowyer, and he has led a total of 168 laps. Points leader right now would be Denny Hamlin. He's currently running 5th. And the highest running chaser, obviously, is Clint, and the lowest is Matt Kenseth in 21st, about to go potentially a lap down. Let's listen in on Clint Bowyer's strategy. I'm sorry.
We're the 12th seat. Nobody expects us to do anything, and that's something that we can use to our advantage. We can go out and have fun, race as hard as we possibly can, take every gamble, risk as we possibly can, and just, go for it.
Crew chief, I love how Shane Wilson, the crew chief of the 33, said, now we got to just make sure we don't screw it up.
They have been very confident today, but they have also been coaching the 33, Clint Bowyer, keeping his spirits up because he's concerned about the way the car handles on restarts. Listen to this radio.
Are we halfway? Yeah, we're lap almost 200. You got to go to the lap I tell you to make it to the end, okay? This will be our last stop if it stays green. We better hope it does. If there's a restart, they'll kill me. This thing won't run. Don't think that way. You pulled away before, man. You're going to win this thing. Just keep focused.
Well, that was earlier, and just as this happens, the caution comes out, and apparently it is for Mark Martin.
Left front tire down on his car.
So this will be our 4th caution.
Keep coming. Keep coming. Easy here, about 10.
Mark was 2 laps down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
As they went from bad to worse.
The man who won here a year ago. This is what happened to him.
There it goes.
Mark was able to keep it off the wall. He's back out on the track, but as we said, under our 4th caution. The free pass will go to the 77 of Sam Hornish Jr. And let's go back to the 33 and that conversation that we heard.
Yeah, I don't understand. I guess he's worried about one of these restarts where he might get beat, get down in turn 1. They've got a good race car, and I think their crew chief, Shane Wilson, doing right by coaching him, saying, hey, you're going to win this race. Just stay focused.
See, Jeff Burton's in. Let's go to Vince Welch.
Yeah, they were concerned, the 33 Clint Bowyer, just that the car doesn't seem to take off as well as he'd like on the restarts. But this gives you an indication of how good it is. No changes with the car other than the 4 tires. The one car, Jamie McMurray, he's been strong all day long as well. In fact, all weekend long. He's lost his drive off a little. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment, Doc.
Denny Hamlin, tight center, loose off, half round up on the track bar, half round down on the left rear. Jamie.
For the 99 track bar up, a half-round air pressure adjustment. 4 tires race off pit road. Clint Bowyer just gets edged out. Actually, they have him number 1 there, guys. It was too close to call.
Bowyer gets it on the Longhorn Steakhouse race off pit road. Tony Stewart picks up 2. Jamie McMurray loses 3.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson lost a couple. Well, sure like Tony Stewart was going to beat Clint Bowyer out of there. I hope he didn't speed in that last little segment to get the lead.
Well, these guys are sort of discussing it amongst themselves maybe about who got it. This is how close it was.
Wow. That's hard to call right there.
Electronic
yes,
timing.
Yeah, right there it is. Yeah.
And the electronic timing and scoring said it was Clint, who was just that close. Now, we are told that race control is going to review, so we'll wait for the official word. But as of now, we'll just leave it where it is with Clint Bowyer, who has led 172 of the 209 laps led here in New Hampshire today. Back here at New Hampshire, we are under our 4th caution. Clint Bowyer is still our race leader. David Gilliland's been struggling today. He has right now 32nd place, minus 3 laps. Let's go over the wall with Anwar Parrish.
Come down here and execute the stop. 10 away. He's going to hit the 5 off. I'm going to put it on. Good job, Nick. There it is. Thanks, man. Oh, yeah. Good pattern, Nick. Oh. There we go. Get the grill. There we go, baby.
Well, that's the first first time we've been able to sneak that in for you. We've watched 3 of his stops. He has been very smooth. Great job, Anwar. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, it is Bowyer, Stewart, Edwards, Hamlin, and Gordon. That's your top 5. McMurray is your first non-chaser in 6th. And look at Bowyer. He's worried about not being able to have enough grunt on the restart, but he's still up front.
Yeah, how about Jeff Gordon up here in the top 5 finally today? He worked hard on the car. Kurt Busch going to make it 3 wide off of 2.
Tony Stewart's got the lead going in 3. Going to clear Clint Bowyer.
Yeah, Tony Stewart is going to take over that top spot. He led 24 laps early in this race, but all of a sudden, Bowyer comes back on him. They get into each other.
He's going to give Carl Edwards a good run at him.
Carl takes a look down the left side. You heard the call from up top. Yes, to give him some room.
There's Denny Hamlin in the mix now.
Then Jeff Burton, then Kurt Busch, and Jeff Gordon. Ryan Newman has got himself up to the 8th spot. Oh, whoa, look out, getting silenced. Hamlin's turn.
About wrecking behind us, they wrecked.
And Hamlin somehow does not get hit.
He doesn't get hit. He's not going to be happy, but he can be happy by the fact that that was in front of the entire field and he didn't get hit.
It's a miracle he didn't get a ton of damage from that.
But he's not going to be happy with Carl Edwards right there.
He was 4th at the time of the incident.
Can't hold his line, can he? Dude.
Let's go back. Here it is.
And it's just one of the things of racing here at New Hampshire. We've talked about it. You see Carl Edwards just slipped up a little bit. Got into him once. Looked like he might be able to stay off of him. Kurt Busch slides by there. Here comes Brad Keselowski. Does a good job of slowing down and missing.
A little contact there, Joey Logano.
He got a little in the left front of Matt Kenseth a little bit there.
Another angle.
So once again, there's just no banking there. See Carl just a little bit loose, had to chase his car up. Then there was that second time that he got into him. Really created a big problem for Denny Hamlin.
So Denny, who took over the top seed with the win last week at Richmond. Let's go on board with Carl.
Inside.
With that second bump.
I did everything I could. That's all I could do.
All right, so we are under our 5th caution now here at New Hampshire. And it shows Denny Hamlin in the 22nd spot. Remember, he was 4th when this started.
Well, he's still got all 4 wheels on it, though. That's the main thing.
And look at what this would do to him in the points if he cannot recover.
He's got 85 laps to make it back up.
Plenty of time. In fact, he is the last car on the lead lap.
Well, I tell you what, that restarts for Clint Bowyer are really giving him a problem like that right now, guys, like he was worried about. In fact, that last time he got damaged with the 14 of Tony Stewart, and it looks to me like the 12 o'clock position on his right front fender got a little damage right there, got bent in a little bit. I don't think it's going to affect the handling, but it looks like the edge right underneath that Goodyear decal is bent under pretty far, so in the next pit stop, they're going to have to pull that out and make sure he doesn't have a clearance problem. Here it is right here. They get together. Clint gets a little loose. The car comes back into the left rear, knocks Tony sideways, and that right there is where he got the damage.
Now the word we're hearing is Jimmy Johnson may have some fender damage as well. This happened further back. Oh yeah, that will do it. Contact with Kyle Busch.
They were in survival mode right there, though. They had that crash happening in front of them. Had to get down low on the racetrack, but you can see the damage for sure on Jimmy Johnson's right front.
This is one more view of what happened as Denny Hamlin goes around, keeps it off the wall, but he finds himself 22nd now. Let's revisit the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. The fastest crew is determined by the winner of each race, the fastest times, and your vote. Be sure to text the car number to 2258 for your pit crew choice. All right, let's clean up some other stuff because remember we had an earlier caution just a few moments ago. Well, 2 cars, one McMurray too fast entering. The 77 of Sam Hornish had an uncontrolled tire. They served their penalties. They find themselves much further back. McMurray's all the way back to 20th, Hornish 21st. Several cars did pit. The 77, the 11 obviously of Hamlin, Ruderman, and the 1 of McMurray. And as we get ready to go back to green with Stewart and Bowyer up front, Stewart has taken the high line. You think this might help Hamlin potentially?
Well, I don't know. He had to make a pit stop there. He got tires and everything. He could possibly stretch it and make it if we go green from here. I'm not sure we're going to make it green, though. These guys are racing awfully hard.
Down into the corner, trying to make it 3 wide potentially. Kurt Busch down low.
Does look like Clint's got a little problem getting going right off the start there.
He's hanged all the way down through there.
Jeff Gordon in third. Right behind is Jeff Burton. Then Ryan Newman, the first of the non-chasers. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will let you know is back up into the top 10. He's worked his way back to 9th. Now there is Denny Hamlin, and boy, he has got a long way to go, although he has picked up 1 spot so far.
That's he's got 3 wide right in front of him.
That's his biggest problem that's facing him is all this traffic, and a wreck happening in front of him could really cause him some problems.
Look at Bowyer. He's got his hands full on the right side of the screen with Jeff Gordon. He got a little loose. Gordon's right on his back bumper. Now he's going to come to the inside. This is for 2nd place.
Wow, remember when Jeff Gordon was talking about he couldn't drive his car? They took a rubber out and all this. Now he's running 2nd, trying to chase down Tony Stewart.
Here comes Jeff Burton taking a peek. Also, Kurt Busch is right underneath the 31. Meanwhile, Tony Stewart trying to open up a little bit of ground. Here comes Kurt again.
Have to stay off of him here. Does a nice job.
They each give each other room, but they're still side by side. That was the 31.
Didn't give him much room there.
No, he didn't. Jeff didn't give him enough room.
Going around, and is he going to make it?
Right here.
Kyle Busch is spun just in front of him.
Jimmy has turned as well. Kyle Busch.
Caution's out, bud. Watch the chaos in front of you here.
Chaos is a good word for it. And Kyle is not happy.
Yeah, I think somebody might have got into the left rear. As you can see, a lot of damage. I think that they got into Kyle as he slowed down to avoid that.
And Kurt's not going to be thrilled either. This is going to get interesting.
Yeah, Jeff Burton was really pinching. He did the 2-car down.
He actually did it in 3 and 4 the lap before that, or the corner before. Looks like he just didn't give Kurt enough room.
Yeah, and that's your prerogative as you try to protect that position, but you have to know that you're also taking a chance of making that guy loose and him getting up and spinning you.
Here we go.
Down into turn 1 here. See, Kurt gets in there pretty hard, but he's down pretty far. See, Jeff comes down just a little bit. That creates a little bit of contact.
There's not much Kurt can do right there.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Johnson got into the 18, and that sent both of them spinning.
Still, it amazes me how well these guys can handle those cars in those situations and stay out of these, big wrecks.
Yeah, this could have been a multi-car chaos. And there you can see, you're right.
Synchronized. I mean, look at all that.
Look at it.
Quick reaction time.
See, Carl Edwards just sneaked through there. Harvick almost gets into Edwards as he comes back up.
Looks like Casey Kane got in the back of Kyle just a little bit.
That's how Kyle got more damage on the rear.
See, down there where Kurt Busch went in, that's not where the 2 degrees start. There's not even 2 degrees of banking there. You have to be extremely careful, and then the guy pulls down just a little bit, takes all the air away.
I see a lot of, maybe something coming out of Jimmy's car there.
On board with Kyle.
Right with you, sniffing the bottom. He's there inside. Yep. Go low.
Now, watch it. Here's from Carl.
Low. Green is still out. Keep racing. Stay low. Watch him come back. Just stay
misses
low.
1. He misses 2.
A lot of smoke. Stay low. Here you go. Outside is covered. Yellow's out. You okay?
And we're going to follow Jimmy here. As you can see, he's down inside, but Kyle has to go down to try to miss it. He sees it happening, and that gets Jimmy into him, or they just come together. You can't say that was anybody's fault there between those two.
How about from on board with Dale Jr.?
We'll get a good view here. See Jimmy go to the inside.
Low, go low, 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 low.
Kyle sees his brother spin. He's trying to miss that.
High. All clear. Good job.
If you can follow all of that, good luck.
We went from low, low, low to high, high, high.
That's good hard racing. Loudon, New Hampshire.
But it is amazing, though. Look at this.
Wow,
Look
Montoya.
at that.
Woo,
Montoya we could have had 10 cars literally scrapped, and it looks like everybody's going to at least be able to continue racing. I mean, this could have been a big mess. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
Well, Marty, Kurt Busch came on the radio after that. He said, man, I got in there too hard, got on the brakes. That's how you have to drive these cars. My bad. He's going to come down pit road and get 4 tires.
All right, so the latest from Kurt, as you can see his cycle there. And this is going to set up some more strategy because now, guys, we're down to 75 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, they can make it from here. But, man, the way they've been racing, you don't know how many cautions we're going to have between here and the end. Jimmy definitely has to get in, get some fender damage fixed and get some tires.
All right, let's talk a little bit more. Let's bring in Ray Everham. Ray.
All right, Andy, help me out here, crew chief buddy. You're Denny Hamlin's crew chief. Does he stay out now? Just a few laps on his tires. All this worked in his favor. A lot of these guys in front of him are going to have to pit.
Yeah, if he feels like he can make it to the end, which I think he can, Ray, I would stay out right here and just go ahead and take this track position. And then if the caution comes out in 50 or 60 laps, and they can come in and get tires with everybody else to stay on their strategy. So,
remember Martinsville, guys, when Danny got spun out there, he had fuel. He had the best tires. He came back and won the race. I'm thinking he's in the catbird seat right now.
Might be, bro.
I think these guys up front get 2 tires if they come.
Well, I wouldn't get any more than 2.
Yeah.
The pits are open. We're going to see who is going to come. Okay. And the 24, Jeff Gordon, is coming. So is the 88 of Earnhardt. Newman.
Like
Tony Stewart stayed out. Bowyer stayed out. Burton stayed out. Carl Edwards did come in. So did Denny Hamlin. So he decided to come in.
Here, bud. 2 tires.
Most of them taking gas only. You see a couple of 2 tires stops on these cars. There's 2 tires on the 18. He might need 4, though. He was in the wreck.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin with fuel only.
There's the work on the 48 as they're trying to knock that fender out.
Get the fender braces too, Mike. Make sure we're not going to have a problem.
At this point, they'll get 4 tires because everyone else has left pit road.
So Jimmy is going to restart this race probably at about 22nd or 23rd position. There is Kurt Busch going back out on the track.
Get it good and full. Full. All right, let's go.
Still checking everything, and they're sending him. All right, so we'll reset everything for you here at New Hampshire as, once again, the strategy has changed. All right, we're getting ready to go green. Elliott Sadler got the free pass. He's in 24th. Jimmy Johnson will restart 23rd. Up front, it will be Tony Stewart, Clint Bowyer, Jeff Burton, and Rudeman, McMurray, and Hornish Jr. and Logano, non-chasers through 7th. And good restart for Tony Stewart. All right, let's talk a little bit about strategy here because, Andy, you think the first 3 may have hung themselves out here.
Yeah, they may have because if we don't, well, obviously, if we don't get a caution, they're going to have to pit. But even if they do get one here, 20, 25 laps, they'll have to pit. And the other cars, I don't think will come in. I think they'll be stuck behind them.
Yeah, we're not through wrecking yet, though. So
well, that's true.
They're still trying to wreck all 4.
Hang on, because there is Jimmy Johnson trying to work his way back up. He's up to 21st position. Let's get an update from Vince Welch down on pit road.
Well, it's interesting, guys. Just mentioned that they're not through wrecking yet. Well, that's what the 14 car is betting on. Darian Grubb and Tony Stewart were discussing whether or not to come on that last yellow, and Darian said, I think there's going to be more yellows. Let's stay out. As far as the 33, Clint Bowyer, kind of in a similar boat because they don't have enough fuel to make it to the end. So there's a lot of teams hoping for more yellows because they got to stretch their fuel to the end.
The last 2 incidents, we've had 6 chase contenders involved in those 2. So it could get very, very dicey as we continue to wind those laps down.
And 4 other chasers happened to miss those 6 that were spinning. So,
man, look at Jimmy Johnson. He was down almost in the grass last lap in 3 and 4 trying to get by this 43. And I can't remember who else he was racing there. But
that's a battle for
3 wide. He's getting ready to make it again.
And here comes
on the apron.
That is all for position, too, because remember, Kurt Busch is back there. So is Carl Edwards. Brad Keselowski. That is from 18th on back. On the right side of your screen, Bowyer and Burton going side by side. And that is for 2nd.
Well, Bowyer's car is nowhere near as good as it was earlier in the race. I don't know what happened, whether this set of tires is just not agreeing with his setup or what, but Burton gets the 2nd spot.
Here comes Jamie McMurray, who had a fast race car, had to serve a penalty. He's got himself back up here in the mix, though. Speaking of a mix, look at Carl Edwards 3 wide.
I thought he was going to drive down pit road.
That's Matt Kenseth on the high side. Then the 12 of Keselowski. And Kurt Busch is tucked up right under. Oh, and Keselowski gets into the 17 of Kenseth. And Kenseth is going to tag the wall. 7th caution is out.
Goes out.
Yeah, that had the makings.
The left side's wrecked pretty hard.
Nothing happened. Nothing good happening.
He's got damage to the left front.
Okay, bring it to us and let's see if we can pull it out.
The left rear.
And for Matt Kenseth.
It's a little worse than that, Jimmy. I can't see the spoiler anymore, so I'll drive by you one time. The tires aren't flying. I'll come down next time.
Okay, now what are these top 3 going to do this time?
I don't know. See right here.
And now in our
I don't think the 99 got into the 12. I think the 12 just got in there maybe a little hot and got up into the 17.
He's the 7th chase contender involved in incidents in the last 3 cautions. And this one the most severe.
You see right here as they get down in. Yeah, you can see Brad Keselowski in the 12 just have to chase his car up the racetrack a little bit, right into the left rear of Matt Kenseth.
We're here in the 14 car is going to stay out this time.
Yeah, there's another look at it. We'll tell you Regan Smith is going to get the free pass. That'll give us 25 cars back on the lead lap. And a very tough break for Matt Kenseth here at New Hampshire. So we've got 66 to go. Welcome back to the Sylvania 300. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. 4 non-chasers in the top 10. In fact, make it 5. But up front, it is Stewart, Burton, and Bowyer, your top 3.
Ooh, boy, you really spun the tires right there. He held that inside line up quite a bit.
It's going to cost him, too. Jeff Gordon's gotten around. Look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's one of those 4 non-chasers in this top 10 mix.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin up on the outside trying to make something happen, but here comes Jamie McMurray trying to take the lead.
He wants the lead. Burton's right there behind Tony Stewart. Remember, these guys have not pitted. Stewart, Burton. Now, we should tell you, look at this. 3 wide as we head down towards turn number 1. Who's going to give? Carl Edwards tucks in underneath the 39. Jimmy Johnson back in that mix as well as he's trying to get back up towards the front. Denny Hamlin, he keeps marching forward. Hamlin is up to the 10th position. Further back, Biffle. Saw him side by side for a moment. There he is trying to get up to the 42 of Juan Pablo Montoya.
I think Carl Edwards might have a little damage in the front end of his car. He's having to use the apron to get his car turned here.
Kyle Busch on the high side. Let's go side by side with Jeff Gordon and Clint Bowyer. And this is the furthest back Bowyer's been all day. He is running right now in a battle for 4th. Vince?
Yeah, on the 33, you guys have speculated this may be the worst his car's been all day, and he just says it is so loose. They're trying to hang on to it. They have been the best on the long runs, and Clint has not liked his car at all on the short runs. And, of course, we keep getting short runs because of the frequency of the cautions. So they're hoping this thing stays green as long as they can. That's where he's been the best so far today.
Well, and you mentioned stay caution free. Got bad news because there's been a caution within the last 50 laps in 11 of the last 13 events here, and we've got 60 to go, so the odds are we are going to have at least one more. On the left side of your screen, you see Jimmy Johnson. Boy, he has got himself a handful right there, as you've got Casey Kane in front of him, Elliott Sadler as well. He's running 23rd, and this would drop him back to 8th in the points if he cannot recover.
Oh, trouble.
Trouble, and Joey Logano's into the wall. Between turns 1 and 2, Elliott Sadler gets turned around as well.
Back up if we can.
We are under our 8th caution with 59 to go. A lot of damage on that 20. Logano was running 18th at the time.
Okay, now what do these leaders do that have not made that last pit stop?
Bring it to pit road first. The garage is a long ways away from our pit box. They can at least get a plan while they're running. Just bring it to pit road to the pit box first.
See what happened here. We'll see that Kurt Busch gets loose once again.
Same spot.
One. Unfortunately, Joey Logano was there to take that. You see Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy's been around every one of these things. Look at that.
Got into Elliott Sadler there, but that's just trying to avoid everything that's happening.
Get another view from down low. Contact for the 20.
Wow.
Awfully hard on that left rear corner. And there they are working on it on pit road. We've had 19 lead changes today, 8 different leaders. Right now it's Jamie McMurray up front as they continue to work on the 20. The free pass is going to go to the 6 of David Reagan. That'll give us 26 cars back on the lead lap. And take a look at who's coming. Juan Pablo Montoya and Greg Biffle and Kurt Busch.
Well, Kyle Busch acted like he was going to be in there, but he decided to stay out. I'm sure a lot of these guys don't want to get back in there.
I guess they have enough caution flags and enough caution flag laps. Even the cars that didn't make that pit stop at 220, 226. The ones that made their pit stop at 208, they may be able to stretch it enough.
Matt Kenseth in as well. Work continues. Coming back out, the 42 and the 16. So we are under our 8th caution here at New Hampshire. Stay with us. This is still a long way from finished. Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. Let's listen to 24.
Fixture-wise, we're not doing bad either, though. 17's wrecked, 2's wrecked. You know, it's like race 1 of 10. So just keep doing what you're doing. You've been good in the restarts. Fight them off when you can. And when we get strung out, just keep running our races, like this said, man.
For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. And we are back to green flag racing with McMurray, Stewart, Burton, Bowyer, and Jeff Gordon, your top 5.
Bowyer got a lot better restart that time.
Oh, look at Hornish down on the apron. Trying to make it 3 wide, and somehow he holds on to it.
Tony Stewart trying to stay in here on the inside of Jamie McMurray. He wants this lead back.
Hornish running 9th right now. Remember, he was a lap down at one point. One of the non-chasers that is in this mix. We have 3 of them in the top 10 right now. Whoa, Jamie got close to the wall. Remember, we were worried about Kevin Harvick? Yeah, look back in that 7th position. You'll see him right there behind the 24. Yes, here we go. Down the back straightaway. Tony Stewart wants it. He's got the inside line as they go for 3.
Jamie drives back up on the outside. Stewart drove it really hard into turn 3.
He still may be able to clear him, and yes, he does. So we'll have our 20th lead change today between 8 different drivers. And right behind him, you can see also side by side, here comes Carl Edwards on Sam Hornish.
These guys doing serious racing right here. I didn't know you could go this 3 wide this many times without hitting something around this racetrack.
Notice Allmendinger right behind the 99. Remember, he was a lap down at one point after having run out of fuel. What a great comeback for the 43 team. And here's Kurt Busch. He's been doing more pirouettes than a ballet dancer today, and he's trying to fight his way back. He's up to 15th. What is that hanging from the 43?
It's like just a piece of maybe the bumper. A little bit of the maybe
fall a little loose right there.
Almost got into the 39, and look, man. Allmendinger goes down on the apron. These guys are using every inch of this track. We've got 51 laps to go. Jeff Burton taking a run on his Richard Childress Racing teammate right now. That is for 3rd on the right side of your screen.
And anyway, these guys up front have enough fuel to make it to the end?
It's possible they do, and if they're counting on some more caution flags and the way they're racing, we'll probably see some more. If they get one more caution, I think maybe they do.
Well, Rusty, we've had 23 caution laps since the 14 pitted back on lap 208.
Well, guys, I know fuel's a concern, but I'm pretty comfortable with those guys that stayed out. I mean, we're calculating down here in the studio. At the very worst, they can run 76 laps. At the very best, they can run 84 laps. So I believe these guys are going to be fine right now because I believe they got enough fuel in the tank to get it done now, Ray.
Well, it depends, Rusty. You know, when you go up and down just a few tenths of a gallon a lap, and it makes a difference. We saw A.J. Allmendinger run out of gas, and we've seen other guys come down to them. But remember, we can go 3 times green, white checker, so that could definitely play a factor in how this race ends up.
Well, you guys, in regards to the leader, Tony Stewart, and his fuel situation, I just asked Darian Grubb, have you had enough yellow flag laps to get yourself to the end? And he smiled like the cat that had eaten the mouse. He said, don't know yet. And I said, can you get to the end? He said, I'll 300, so not giving away any secrets on top of the 14 box, that's for sure.
I think Vince, he would be a lot more comfortable with one more caution and about 5 more caution laps.
Well, he may get it. We've only had 2 cautions in the first 147 laps. In the last 100, we've had 6.
So the odds are good that we'll have another one.
Side by side, here goes Harvick and Jeff Gordon. There's Denny Hamlin knocking on the door as well. That is for 6th, 7th, and 8th. And right in front of him, you saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. having a great day. He's into the 5th spot.
Well, Junior does have a fast car, and we've seen his car actually be better on the long race. See, Kevin Harvick has gone around Jeff Gordon. Here comes Denny Hamlin.
And right behind this group is another non-chaser, the 00 of David Rudiman. There are 3 non-chasers in the top 10. Rudiman running in 9th. Oh, and Kyle tags the wall again.
Yeah, I was going to mention he's up in the 10th spot, and he probably wishes this race was over right now. He'd take a 10th and get out of Dodge, go on to Dover, and see if he can win.
But behind Kyle is the 77 of Sam Hornish, another non-chaser with Ryan Newman behind him.
I can't tell you what to do. If it's not feeling right, just bring it in.
Doc, what are you hearing down there?
Jimmy Johnson saying he's got a huge chatter in the side of the car. He's backed off. You see cars going by. Chad Canal says, we might be a loose wheel. If you think it is, Jimmy, go ahead and just bring it down pit road. He will. He will make the left-hand turn under the green flag. So the reigning series champion having trouble here in race number 1 of the chase. Chad Canals cannot believe it as Jimmy Johnson comes down here with less than 50 laps to go with a possible loose wheel here on the 48 car.
Not a very happy birthday present from Friday when he celebrated his 35th. And he is the one guy who has been able to come back from a dismal finish here in New Hampshire to win the championship, but this is not the way you want to start it.
Well, we're kind of waiting to see who, kind of stumbled first in this chase. Didn't think it would be Jimmy Johnson, but some of this is out of his control.
He finished 39th back in 2006, came back to win it, but if you remember, he finished like second, first, and 9th in the last 4 races. Stay with us.
Tony Stewart started this race as the number 6 seed in the chase, fresh off his first win of the season just a couple of weeks ago. He took the lead on the very first lap. His father's looking on, saying, you go. Took the lead again not that long ago from Jamie McMurray after McMurray had squeezed out in front on a restart. And Tony Stewart is 38 laps away from what would be a huge victory, beginning his bid for a 3rd championship. Good fight for 2nd spot behind him. Little contact there. Here's Clint Bowyer, 33, coming after McMurray in 1 and going by.
Well, I tell you, this is exactly what Clint Bowyer needed right now. He just needs long runs. On the restarts, his carburetor's been stumbling real bad, giving him problems there. He had a loose race car, and now the air pressure's coming up. The car is hooked back up, and he's got some of the fastest lap times of the race going right now. Bowyer does, so he just needs more time to run Stewart down and catch him. He's only 1.2 seconds behind at the moment. But here's a guy that's been dominating. He's been struggling now, but now he's looking good again.
Needs the thing to stay green to the finish. Now, Jimmy Johnson, we saw him on pit road under the green a minute ago. He's 1 and almost a 2nd lap down. The team radio after the stop sounded like this.
It's not vibrating now. 10-4. We had a right front wheel that was shaking there a little bit. Cruise, bud. Just cruise. Really got nothing at all that we can do until a caution comes out, or if a caution comes out.
Now, we talked about throughout the day about mistakes. There's a rare mistake for the 4-time defending champions.
Yeah, but as we said, it is going to be so close this year. That is what's going to make the difference. Focus, mental toughness, and not making those mistakes.
So Jimmy Johnson right now showing back in 28th position, and again 1 and nearly a 2nd lap down to Tony Stewart. Stewart's advantage over Clint Bowyer. That 1.4 seconds is what it looks like. How about the guy in 5th?
How about Dale Earnhardt Jr.? What a day old Junebug is having. He's done a great job. Started way back in the pack today in the mid to low or late 20s. Has moved up almost 30 positions. That race car looks great. Good opportunity for him to get a good top 5 finish. Way to go, Junior.
At times today, Dave, this team's radio has sounded kind of adventurous, but they're getting results right now.
Very much so. His last radio transmission was feels great. Remember, they came in for a splash of fuel, so with some saving, they should be good to the end. And one thing Lance McGrew told me this morning, he said, contrary to popular belief, you can pass people here at this racetrack. Well, they've had to do it all day. In fact, he said, we've done it before. They did it in the spring, finished 8th after starting 31st. And today, they've driven and passed a lot of race cars up to the top 5.
Good race here for 10th and 11th spots. Ryan Newman, 39. Kyle Busch, 18. Remember, Busch's car beaten and battered in one of the numerous spins and cautions we've seen in the last 100 laps of this race. He gives up that spot. Again, Kyle frustrated pretty much all day long on his team's radio too. So, 33 laps to go. Will we see another yellow, or will it stay green and Bowyer get a chance to run down Tony Stewart? How will it all turn out? The best may yet be still to come.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Sylvania 300 is brought to you by Silver Star Ultra Headlights from Sylvania. See farther, see wider, see better. Burger King, who remind you to have it your way. Chevrolet, every model is backed by a 100,000-mile 5-year powertrain limited warranty. And Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste.
Don't forget to get your official NASCAR ESPN racing apparel at NASCARSuperstore.com or go to ESPNShop.com. And back here, we're shopping to see who's going to win this race. We now have 26 laps to go. We've had a total of 8 leaders, 20 lead changes, and right now Tony Stewart has led a total of 76 of those laps. And the man who's led the most, of course, was Clint Bowyer. Denny Hamlin would be the points leader coming out of here if everything stays the same. He's running 6th. Jimmy Johnson is 26th, and he is a full lap down. And on the move, Kurt Busch, 15th. He's picked up 4 spots since the last caution. And we should point out Jimmy Johnson is 1 more position away from getting the free pass. He's got to get around that 7 car of Robbie Gordon. And I don't think that is going to be much of a problem for him because Robbie has been about several tenths of a second slower each lap. Jimmy going under the 6 of David Reagan. Reagan in 23rd position. He is on the lead lap. And now this is for the lucky dog. Now you got Tony Stewart running up front by 1.4 seconds. Over second place, Clint Bowyer. There's Clint. Third place, Jamie McMurray. Jeff Burton running in 4th. And Denny Hamlin has gotten around Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the 5th spot, guys.
Just amazing. I look at this monitor, just how close these times are. You see just a few hundredths of a second between these cars. Clint Bowyer now just picking up just a little bit of time on Stewart.
Yeah, and I think maybe Denny Hamlin's sitting there in a pretty good spot. I think he may be thinking, well, I got by Junior. These 4 guys in front of me may run out of fuel before this is over.
Well, let's see what Denny thinks about being a threat for this year's championship.
I just think that the 11 team has lost enough to know how to win one now. I think that we've lost 4 chases in a row. The way I see it, we're 0 for 4. But through each year, I feel like I've learned something, and you know, I'm going to take all those things that I've learned, put them to use, and I feel like as good as I'm running this year, if I apply them correctly, we should be good.
He is 4.6 seconds behind the race leader, and it will be interesting to see if your theory may hold some water there, DJ, as far as the guys running up front. Remember, Tony Stewart, Clint Bowyer last pitted on lap 208. Now you got Carl Edwards a little bit further back trying to get past Sam Hornish Jr. That would be for the 12th position. And A.J. Allmendinger, what a day this guy has had, running out of fuel, going a full lap down. He's back up to the 14th spot.
Well, he's had to battle his way back there, too. He's done a great job on this racetrack. He said earlier in the weekend that this wasn't one of his favorite tracks a couple of years ago when he first came here, but he's adapted very well.
Had a great run last week and carried that momentum in here. Kind of a similar setup type racetrack to last week, so you can imagine that would carry over.
Yeah, he finished 8th back at Richmond. That was his 5th top 10 of 2010. Right now, nobody can get past Hornish. This is a good run for Hornish, too. Let's give him some props. Remember, earlier in the week, it was reported, Tim Cindric was quoted as saying, yes, he is free to look. They want to keep him, but they don't have sponsorship right now for next year. And then there was also a report floating that he could possibly go back to the Nationwide Series. All right, let's go back to the race lead. Let's check in on Tony Stewart, and there you see the gap between Bowyer at 1.1 seconds behind, and let's check in with Vince Welch.
Guys, the 33 Clint Bowyer, they believe that they're short on fuel. At one point, they're encouraging him to go get Tony, and then alternating with, hold on, we got to save a little fuel. Clint finally came on the radio, and he said, hey, I can't do both. I can't catch him and save fuel both. So here's the strategy they're talking about on the radio.
That was really good off that corner. If you coast it further, do that again. If you're still on a fuel mode there, too. That's good.
48 out the back. I would run as fast as you
fighting for second and hoping the leader runs out. That can't be a comfortable feeling. DJ, as a driver, how difficult is it to just kind of sit back there and hope that the other guy has a problem?
Yeah, that's no fun, especially you're sitting in second place. You're depending on somebody else to run out when you know you have a fast race car. So, yeah, it's at some point in time you push that button and say, okay, guys, which do you want me to do? You want me to catch him or sit here and wait and see if he runs out? Which would be a great day for them also.
Well, here's the thing to remember. Stewart, Bowyer, and Burton, first, second, and fourth, all pitted last on lap 208. McMurray pitted at lap 217.
Well, this is kind of what I said at the beginning of the show. I said something about not taking a chance on, trying to get a win. If Clint Bowyer had pitted with those other cars, he would have gotten a solid day out of it. Now he's rolling the dice to try to get a win, or if it doesn't work for him, it's going to be ugly. He'll be back in the 20s.
You could see the difference in the fuel calculation.
McMurray's got about 8 laps on these guys on fuel, so that if anybody can make it, he can.
Well, we'll find out. The laps continue to wind down. There are now 17 to go. Now 16 as Tony Stewart crosses the stripe. There is Clint Bowyer, 1.2 seconds behind. There is some slower traffic in between, and that's Tony Raines. Let's get an update on fourth place, Jeff Burton. Dave?
Marty, he was one of the stay-out cars, and his crew chief, Todd Bowyer, told him, we cannot make it without cautions. Well, then they got a bunch. Most recently, Jeff said, do I need to worry about the 11? There's the 11. Information back to Jeff was the 11's the fastest car on the track. There he goes. And I don't know how much fuel you has saved. Jeff held him off for a while, but I think is trying to make it to the end. He let the 11 get by.
Well, Mike Ford has told Denny Hamlin, you now have plenty of fuel, so go get him. He also told him the guys in front of you are probably going to try to make it. We don't think they can. You decide what you want to do, but if you want to go get them, go after them. So Denny Hamlin has turned up the wick here for the final 15 laps.
Yeah, we talked when he had his spin, when he got hit by Carl Edwards, that could play into his advantage. Mike Ford looked like he may have made the right strategy here. We'll see what happens with these 3 guys in front of him.
His last pit stop he made on lap 226, so that's quite a few laps he has on the other cars in front of him.
In fact, you have to go back to 6th place Dale Earnhardt Jr. to find someone else who pitted on the same lap as Denny Hamlin. Everybody else a lot earlier. Tony Stewart gambled on fuel back in Kansas and won back in 2006, but at that time he was not in the chase. Look out, that was a little touchy. So as Tony comes down now with a 1.2-second lead, you can see that 11 of his 38 career Sprint Cup wins have come in race 27 or later of the season. And we pointed out that no one has scored more points in the last 16 races than that man driving the number 14 right now.
Well, that was one of the reasons for my choice of Tony, not only to win here today, but to win the championship. I've just seen this team on such an upswing, and in talking to Tony, he just felt very confident that they've gotten everything into place at the right time.
And I got to give props to your buddy over there to your right there, because he picked Clint Bowyer for the race this day, and here you guys are running 1-2.
I'm glad you brought that up before they run out of gas.
That's what I was going to say. I wish we could get both of them a few gallons of gas right here.
All right, well, let's find out as this continues to wind down now, as we've got 11 laps to go. Does Tony Stewart, Clint Bowyer, have enough fuel to hang on to this?
The last lap, Clint Bowyer was a 1/10 of a second faster than Tony Stewart.
Checking back in on Carl Edwards, because he still has his hands full with A.J. Allmendinger. That is for 13th on the racetrack.
Hey, the way I look at it, if they have a green-white checker right now, the 11 car's got the best tires and the most fuel, the 11 still wins the race.
Well, I'll tell you, Tony Stewart and Clint Bowyer are not looking for that.
Now, the one thing that could hinder that type of situation is these cars have really gotten strung out around this racetrack. So you've only got a couple of real battles going on as Denny Hamlin's trying to take the 3rd spot away from the other guy that looks like he has more fuel than anyone else out there in that top 5. So right now, Denny would be sitting good if indeed Tony Stewart and Clint Bowyer can't make it.
Well, even if they do make it, this is still huge for point implications, because Denny, remember, at the spin could have been dropping like a rock, and here he is back in the top 3, just 3.3 seconds behind the race leader with 9 laps to go. Look out, getting a little close between Allmendinger and Carl Edwards. Allmendinger's got the inside line. Edwards trying to hold him off. Edwards does not want to surrender the points. Carl has scored more points than anybody in the last 10 races. Little gesture from Carl out the window. Allmendinger's not easing up. He wants the position.
Well, he's battled hard all day. He's had a great race car. They got behind after they ran out of fuel, but he's battled his way back. Yeah, he understands the position Carl Edwards is in. They both are driving forward. Carl's driving, battling for a championship. AJ's doing a nice job of racing him clean.
Well, he's still going to race him hard, though.
Absolutely.
He is one of 6 non-chase contenders in the top 14. So as we pointed out at the beginning of the broadcast, these guys could take valuable points away, and that's what he's trying to do for Carl Edwards. Tony Raines, a lap traffic vehicle right there. Look out, Dinger gets a little close. AJ finally clears. Now he's got to reel Carl back in.
I've been watching not only these guys, but also watching Tony Stewart's lap times to see if he might be slowing down, to see if he's going to be saving some fuel. I promise you, he hasn't slowed down
a bit.
There's the margin between first and second, and that is 1.1 seconds on the track.
Here's one problem they have, though. If they slow down, they've got Denny Hamlin, who's got the fastest car on the track, right in their mirror, so they can't afford really to slow up.
No.
They got to roll their dice here and just see what happens.
Yeah, Denny's not going to catch him unless they have a fuel issue, but Denny has been about 2 to 3 tenths quicker per lap.
But it does keep him honest on the fuel.
Yes,
They're not,
exactly.
He's not allowing them to save any fuel.
He is 2.7 seconds behind as we have 5 laps remaining here in the first race for the chase. And there is the fuel window, and boy, it is awfully thin for first and second.
Yeah, Tony, Clint, don't look at that.
Yeah. You know, and sometimes as a driver, you find that as you try to back off a little bit, let your car roll, your lap times don't slow down, but you're actually saving fuel by letting your car roll a little bit more. So Tony Stewart's really good at that. Here we go. AJ back trying to get back Carl again.
Going for that 13th spot that Carl Edwards has, and Carl's still trying to hang on to it.
Carl's not going to give it to him. He's going to fight hard. He's only got a few laps to hold him off.
Every point is important. Carl right now would be in 10th in the chase if he can hold on to that 13th position. Big question right now, though, is what's going to happen up front. Let's go split screen. Right side, there's your race leader. 3 laps to go for Tony Stewart. His margin is now 1.1 second over Clint Bowyer and 2.3 seconds over Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, Denny is a solid quarter of a second faster per lap.
But if Tony and Clint had your Impala that you have at home driving around the streets, they could probably make this and stretch it. But they've got almost 900 horsepower to deal with here. That
hard to control that.
Takes a lot of fuel to make it go, but 2 more laps.
2 miles remaining here at New Hampshire.
All right, what are you looking at, Dale? You can drive into. Are you watching the fuel pressure all the way around?
Well, we see Junior going by Jeff Burton here. Yeah, you're looking at that. Yeah, you have to pay attention.
Dave, what are you hearing?
Running out. That's what Jeff Burton just reported.
Uh-oh.
Burton last pitted on lap 208. That's when our first and second place cars also pitted. They're going to have to go. And Tony Stewart's out of fuel. It's Clint Bowyer's race now. Can he
make it back?
He has to go 1 more mile.
And he's got Denny Hamlin in his mirror.
Hamlin is trying to close. It is going to be this close. Does he have enough fuel? Bowyer can pick up the win. He's led the most laps today, 176. He's got to get through 3 and 4.
He's got to get through good, too, because that 11 car is there.
It's called the Magic Mile. Who has the magic wand today?
Mash the gas.
The name is Clint Bowyer, and he's your winner.
Come on, baby.
Oh, my goodness, what a finish.
Wow. Denny Hamlin second. Jamie McMurray comes across in third. Great race for Dale Earnhardt Jr. after a lot of frustration. Good comeback for Harvick in fifth. Jeff Gordon, Ruderman, Newman, Kyle Busch, and Sam Hornish. And the 31 finally comes across the line. Edwards, Allmendinger.
Tony Stewart's on the apron over in turn 3 and 4 right now.
How about that, boy?
And there is Tony Stewart. 2 laps short.
Yeah, they rolled the dice and lost there. I mean, that's just a chance you take.
Right now, he will finish in 24th position.
He's trying to coast across the line. Tony is to try to finish. It's not going to really matter in where he does finish. It was matter on the lap count that goes beside his name.
You never quit. This is how you're going to win a championship. You never quit.
Both of these cars pitted on lap 208. One gets to do a burnout. The other coasts across the finish line. Well, we said that this chase could be one of the most interesting in the 7 that are now underway. Stay with us. I think it's living up to its billing. The view from Tony Stewart's back bumper as Clint Bowyer does victory donuts with enough fuel, and Tony coasts across the finish line. For Clint, it breaks an 88 race streak that was winless, and boy, did he pick a good time to break that streak, guys.
Yeah, second time he's done that. Race his way into the chase and then come here to Loudon and win.
Tony Stewart unofficially in 24th position. Instead of being second in the points, he will now drop down to 11th. And guess who's going to jump from 12th all the way up to second? Your race winner.
We just talked about those gambles and would they pay off and would they be worth it?
And now they had to push Clint because he actually did finally run out of gas. Let's check in with second place, Dave.
And what a day for Denny Hamlin, spinning on the track. Close on fuel at the end there?
No, we knew he would run out before I was, so I was going as hard as I could go. And you know, we came in and got fuel right there when those guys stayed out, and just we made a run at them. You know, we had a heck of a car there at the end making a charge, but can't say enough for everyone at FedEx, and it's just it's what we need to do.
What does today tell you about your chances going forward, Denny?
I'm telling you, we're strong. I told you last week, you know, this team is tough.
All right, Denny Hamlin second today. Great comeback for them, guys.
Certainly was. And the difference between first and where Tony finishes in 24th, 94 points. If Bowyer, Hamlin, Harvick, Gordon, those are all chase contenders. 5 out of 6 years, the winner of the championships come from the top 6 finishers here in New Hampshire. For the 7 years that the chase has been held, a chase contender has won this race at New Hampshire. His name is Clint Bowyer, and look, he jumps 10 spots up to the number 2 position, just 35 markers behind Denny Hamlin. And the heartbreak for Tony Stewart is he drops 5, losing 94 points from where he was in first to where he finished in 24th. Let's head down to Victory Lane.
He led 177 laps today, and there was a time when they weren't quite sure whether they were going to make it. How difficult was it to sit behind Tony hoping he would run out of fuel?
You know, I don't know what happened to our car there halfway through the race. The carburetor started missing out. I couldn't get going on restarts, but it actually worked in my favor, you know, once the run got in. But you know, I hate it for Tony. I hate to win races like that, but I tell you, we've lost a couple here this year, and just so proud of Shane Wilson, all these guys in his Cheerios, Hamburger Helper Chevrolet. 14 years General Mills has been in this sport, and finally got him a win. But BB&T, Hartford, everybody that's involved with this, Coca-Cola, Richard, you know, this is awesome. I come back, I just had a feeling that this race just felt like back in 2007, and we did it again.
At one point you said, I can't go get him and save fuel both at the same time. What was it like for you during those final laps?
Well, it's terrible. You know, you want to go, and I thought I could run him down, but I was using so much fuel through the middle of the corner that I just had to back down. And you know, I could tell in his voice. You can always tell once you get that relationship with somebody, you can tell in his voice how nervous he was, and he sounded pretty nervous.
Now you've jumped from 12th in the points all the way up to second, now just 35 points behind Denny Hamlin. What does this win do for this team in the championship chase?
Yeah, it's just momentum. You know, that's exactly what this team needed. The confidence, momentum, everything that a first win brings. You know, the first race of Chase couldn't happen at a better time, and I'm excited. What the second points? Let's go get them. I tell you what, I want to thank Sprint and the fans for coming out. That was a hell of a crowd and a good race. Thank you.
What an emotional day for Clint Bowyer and an emotional day for Tony Stewart as well, Doc.
Well, Tony, a lap away from an incredible weekend. What's the emotion right now for you?
Well, it's not happy, that's for sure. But you know, we went down swinging for sure today. It's
it's hard to lose one that way, but at the same time, it's fun racing Clint like that. I mean, he was definitely the fastest car all day, and congratulations to those guys. That's a tough way to start the chase, but I'm really proud of our guys. I mean, Darian kept swinging at it all day, and finally on that last set of tires, we finally got halfway decent. So, and, you know, let us run his pace. But I think I ran me out of fuel. These guys are saying sorry for running me out of fuel. I think I ran me out of fuel.
I mean, you were great in qualifying, incredible in happy hour, and seemingly unbeatable on race day. If you had the call to do over again, would you make the same call and roll the dice?
Yeah, I think I'd just, you know, I may have had to just settle for second, and if you know exactly how much fuel you got to have, it's a lot easier. But you never know when you're guessing. So, you know, it's just part of it. That's part of the sport. It always has been, and you know, it's what makes it exciting. I mean, you never know till the last lap who's going to win these things.
Mentally, where are you right now in terms of this chase? I mean, you got 9 races to go. Can you win this championship?
Who knows? I mean, there's so much that can happen in 9 races. I can promise you this Office Depot Old Spice Chevy team is not going to give up. We got 9 shows to do it in, and you know, we'll do the best we can and give it our best shot.
Thanks, Smoke.
Thanks.
Doc, thanks. Interesting quote. I think I ran me out of fuel for Tony Stewart, who wound up finishing in 24th position today. Let's talk to one of the top non-chasers today, Dave.
And that was Dale Earnhardt Jr. Remember how we talked about how his crew chief told me, yeah, you can pass cars here, and we're not too worried. We have a great race car. I guess you did, because when you got set back, you just kept coming forward.
Yeah, the setbacks hurt us a lot. I want to thank Amp Energy and National Guard and the team. They worked really hard. We unloaded a great car. They did a good job preparing it at the shop, and we worked on it all weekend. It was pretty good in practice, and we improved on it a little bit. And we had an 8th place finish last time and felt like we were really fast, competitive all day long. And we can't qualify very good here, but once we get in race trim, we just kind of go to the front or get near the front. Felt like we had a top 10 car, and we had a jack stop brake, had to go to the back, and then we had a miscommunication with a 76 on pit road. It cost us a half a lap under green, and just battling back from all that stuff. Track position was what we needed at the end, and we didn't have it. And we were able to start on the outside a couple times and gain some spots on some guys that were a little bit slower than us and get back to where we needed to be. But I think, you know, if we had the track position, we'd have run wherever, you know, we'd have restarted probably. You know, we were fast as a 14 at times in the 1, and all those guys that were up there battling for it at the end. And we just needed the track position. 33 had everybody covered. I don't know if anybody would have been able to hold him off, but he was pretty fast all day.
Oh, welcome back to the top 5. Great day for Junior.
David, thank you. And as we look ahead, 9 races to go in this season and in this chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. It's on to Dover next week, the Monster Mile.
Wow, what a great way to start the chase. The guy who finishes 12th in the points wins the race. The guy who we think is going to win the race runs out of gas. Outstanding start.
And what about some of these non-chasers? McMurray and Earnhardt Jr., great runs out of these guys that needed it. They're not racing for points, they're racing for wins.
Yep. I love that.
Oh, look at that.
Trying to make a mark here in New England. Jerry Gapin's track president pictured on the left there. Track vice president, general manager, I think is the correct title. With the lobster to the race winner.
An aggressive lobster, like we saw today. You got to be aggressive. We saw aggressive driving. We saw aggressive pit call. Yeah. This is going to be an aggressive chase.
Yeah. All right, a couple things to remind you of. Sports Center's coming up next. Much more post-race coverage from here in New Hampshire. Do stay with us for that. And we also remind you of what's coming up down the road. Later on tonight, 7 Eastern Time, it's the O'Reilly Auto Parts NHRA Nationals on ESPN2. Finals coming up. Check it out from the straight liners. Then next weekend, it's on to the Monster Mile in Dover, the Nationwide Series race. Our coverage Saturday presented by Cece's Pizza is ESPN2 at 3 Eastern Time. And the Sprint Cup race, our coverage presented by Burger King, ESPN next Sunday at 1 Eastern. Don't forget, Countdown is on ESPN2 at noon Eastern. NASCAR Now with a post-race wrap-up tonight at 10 Eastern Time. We'll have the roundtable tomorrow. We got all kind of stuff coming up. And boy, have we got a lot to talk about after what we saw today in chase race number 1 here in New Hampshire.
Well, I know who's getting the best fuel mileage right now. We're going to talk about that the rest of the year. That RCR team, those engines, they are efficient, they're fast, and what about a turnaround for Richard Childress Racing?
Yeah, great day for those guys, I tell you, but don't count Tony Stewart out. It's not over. 9 more to go. He'll get back in it.
Round 1, baby. No knockout.
Ding, ding.
No knockout. You couldn't win it today. You could hurt yourself. Said that at the start of the day. Tony Stewart cost himself a lot of points when that car ran out of fuel. Clint Bowyer moved from 12th to 2nd in the standings. Boy, have we got a lot more to talk about on our post-race coverage coming up on Sports Center and as we look ahead to Dover. So long from New Hampshire. Sports Center right now.